This guy becomes stronger by consuming girls, but not long before this, our protagonist, Lee Haoran, was diagnosed with a condition called anomaly syndrome, a rare disease caused by monsters. Those afflicted cannot resist the energy emitted by interdimensional beings, which slowly consumes their bodies until death. However, after his parents were caught in the crossfire between awakened beings and monsters, he finds himself unable to give up. He has a younger sister to care for. A few days after his diagnosis, Haoran joins a team of exterminators in the suburbs of City J. The leader of the extermination team, Zijin, informs them of the mission details. Apparently, some days ago there were reports of dozens of level 1 monsters attacking people in the area. Their mission is pretty simple, and this is to enter into the monsters' lair and wipe them out. Zijin tells the team that level 1 monsters are a walkover for them. Apparently, Zijin is a steel upper-class awakened. Zijin is confident that once they stick to the plan, they will have no issue with the mission. He asks them if there are any questions, but once they say no, he orders them to get a move on. The team members are all hyped to take on the monsters. Since Haoran is the only non-awakened in the group, Zijin asks him if he is familiar with his role as the porter. Haoran stands there, carrying a big bag that looks like a water tank behind him. Haoran assures Zijin that he knows what to do. Haoran knows that, for someone like him, the only way he gets to work with an extermination squad is to be a porter. Porters don't fight, but only follow the team while carrying supplies and making sure that provisions stay safe. They are also meant to clean up after the battle and collect any valuable monster materials. Haoran assures Zijin that he knows everything about the job, since it is not his first time doing it. The team soon finds the lair of the monsters, and they get to work. Since they are level 1 monsters, the team members crush them with ease. They punch the monsters' heads, crushing them in with no problems at all. Those who use swords slash the monsters, and those with magical powers hit the monsters with the best magic spells that they have. Haoran is relieved that things are going smoothly and they should be done in no time. He admits that the power gap between awakened and ordinary humans is far too great. Suddenly he hears a loud noise in the area and he quickly figures out that level 1 monsters shouldn't have been able to make such a noise. Fear grips him as sweat runs down his face with the realization that something is extremely wrong. Suddenly, something huge ruffles the grass beside them, and to their greatest surprise, a large serpent appears from inside the woods. It turns out to be a level 5 Titan python, and the moment the rest of the team sees this, they freeze up in fear. Sweat runs down their bodies as one of them reveals that she has seen the monster before on TV. They are surprised to have come across such a terrifying monster in the area when the intel told them that it is only home to level 1 monsters. While they are all standing like rocks, Zijin is the first to act, and he screams at them, telling them to snap out of their zones. He tells them to run since death is the only thing that awaits them if they stay. Hearing the leader scream at them helps them snap out of their freezing stage and they make a run for it. As they run through the woods, they realize that there is no way that they are going to outrun the python. One of them suggests that they are going to need something to distract the python. Zijin realizes that they actually have something or someone that they can use as bait. Zijin goes after Haoran, and before he knows what is happening, he gets slashed in the chest. Blood spills everywhere as Haoran is forced to ask Zijin why he would attack him. Zijin rudely tells him that he is the only person among them who can't fight, which makes him totally useless. He grabs him by the neck, telling him that he will serve as the perfect bait. In addition to this, Zijin reveals that he has read Haoran's file, and he knows that he has anomaly syndrome, which means he is on the verge of dying. Zijin holds Haoran up in the air while blood drips all over the floor. Zijin then tells Haoran that since he is already a dead man, he should do something useful. He then throws Haoran to the python while telling him not to blame them for being the total loser that he is. Haoran crashes into the ground and bounces to where the monster is. He is totally weak as he coughs out blood. The python spots Haoran and immediately opens its mouth, ready to devour him. Haoran is left to wonder if this is how he is going to die. He remembers his mother making him promise to take care of his sister no matter what. With tears in her eyes and with her last breath, she tells her children that they both need to stay alive. Just as the python is about to swallow him up, a magic circle appears right underneath Haoran. A red light shines upon him, and this is the last thing he sees as he shuts his eyes. When he opens his eyes, he finds himself standing on what seems to be a podium, shocking him since he is supposed to be dead meat. Haoran checks his body to see that his injuries are gone, and he is also wearing a red and black costume that looks badass. He wonders if all of this is happening because of the red light that he saw before dying. Just then, he hears a woman's voice close to him. He turns around to see a succubus, and when he looks at his front, there are a bunch of them staring at him and celebrating. The one standing beside him is Nico, and she is the one who summoned Haoran by using a junk scroll that they found. The succubi are all happy that they finally found a quality man after searching for so long. They talk about how excited they are to be standing in the presence of a man who is emanating a strong aura and magic. They discuss how they can't wait to get down with Howran. While all of this is happening, Howran remains totally confused. He wonders what is happening and why there are so many succubi in the area. In addition to this, Howran can see a status panel in front of him, but it seems the girls cannot see this. On the status panel, Howran is a level 1 blood demon. In the section of his god race, it turns out that he is now a vampire. While staring at the status panel in confusion, Nico tells him that he summoned him by using an ancient summoning array. When the array was activated, the heavens changed color, and an immense magical power surged from the array, which startled the girls. Apparently, Nico is a level 3 monster succubus, and she believes that Howran is a very powerful person since he is able to create such a disturbance. Just then, Nico tells Howran that she's pledging allegiance to him. The moment she says this, Howran receives a notification on the panel telling him that he has gained his first follower. Howran is confused by this, but he knows that he got the notification right after Nico pledged loyalty to him. He taps on Nico's status, and with this, he is able to see her stats. She is 18 years old, and she is a level 3 monster from the succubus race. For her traits, she craves strength, and she has an innate admiration for whoever is strong. And in the affection section, which is below the panel, the system tells Howran that Nico's affection for him is currently at 88%. The system tells him that when a follower's affection reaches 100%, he can choose to add them to his harem and receive a mysterious reward. This was when it finally dawned on Howran that he had gained the power far beyond that of any awakened being, which is the blood demon god system. He has finally gained the power that can give him the revenge that he seeks. While he is still trying to process everything that is happening, Nico walks up to him and locks her body down on his chest, asking why he is looking so excited. She asks him if he is feeling so stiff after sleeping for so long and would like to stretch a little. Howran doesn't know what he is doing, but he agrees with Nico, telling her that he actually needs to move around. The moment he says this, Nico tells him that he is free to touch her anyhow and any place he wants. She is ready to help her master relax, even if it takes her body. Nico starts taking off the arms of her melons holder, telling Howran that this is his first time, but she is ready to do her best to please Howran. When the rest of the girls hear this, they start scolding Nico, calling her shameless for trying to jump ahead of them to enjoy the master all to herself. One of them believes that she is more suited to the task since her body is softer and much more comfortable than Nico's. Howran cannot properly process the fresh melons standing right in front of him, and he tells Nico that she should not get the wrong idea since he is not trying to take advantage of her. He wonders if the girls are this desperate. The moment he says this, Nico's affection level immediately drops from 88% down to 85%. Nico is disappointed to hear her master say this, and she asks him what she is doing wrong. She asks him if her body is not good enough to satisfy him. Momentarily, it dawns on Howran that he shouldn't have said what he said since affection seems to be the core mechanics of the system. He realizes that he needs to leverage the system's power if he wants to get his revenge. To do this, Howran figures out that he needs to max out the affection of the girls. Howran swings into action, telling Nico that she must have misunderstood what he meant. He tells Nico that she is beautiful, but he doesn't stop there. He tells all the girls that they are all beautiful and that he has never met anyone as unique as her. The moment Nico hears this, her face lights up in excitement. The system notifies Howran that Nico's affection has risen to 90%. Nico continues to blush in excitement as she tells Howran how flustered she is because of the nice things she is hearing from him. Howran then continues by saying he is still trying to adjust to things since he just got summoned. Howran lets Nico know that he needs energy. The moment Nico hears this, she tells Howran that what he needs is blood, given that he is the demon god. She slightly turns her neck, telling Howran that he is free to have as much blood as he wants. In fact, she considers it an honor to give Howran her blood. Howran suddenly realizes that there is a burning sensation inside him that he can't control. He wonders why he is feeling so restless, and he figures that it might be a vampire's instinct. Howran couldn't fight it, and before he knew it, he sank his teeth into Nico's neck. Nico opens her mouth in pain and pleasure while her face turns bright red in excitement. Just as Howran does this, the system tells Howran that Nico's affection has risen to 92%. Nico shed tears of joy while Howran drank from her neck, and she realized that she had completely fused with her master. Howran gets the notification that he has unlocked a new skill, which is blood fusion. Because of this, his strength attribute has increased by 1 point. After he is done feeding on Nico, Howran stares at the panel in shock as he excitedly looks at the new skill he just acquired. He never knew that drinking blood would also count as something. Howran decides to check out the attributes of the blood fusion in the details. The blood fusion skill allows him to absorb fresh blood from an opposite gender, which will give him a random attribute point. Each target he feeds on can only activate this once. Haran is shocked to see that he has just gotten a skill that boosts attributes without him leveling up. Even though the stat gain is random, Haran knows that if he can feed on enough targets, he can power up much faster. Without a doubt, Haran knows that the skill is pretty insane. Haran then calls Nico, telling her that he needs more blood. Nico is happy to hear this, as she tells Haran that he is free to take as much blood as he wants. However, Haran corrects the misunderstanding, telling Nico that he doesn't want her blood. He says he needs more women's blood, and he doesn't mind getting a load of women to drink from. The moment the rest of the girls hear this, their blood boils in excitement as they reveal how eager they are for Haran to drink from them too. Realizing that no one is objecting to the suggestion, Haran tells them that they should all get down to business. The first girl Haran drinks from gives him 1 additional stamina point. The next girl grants him an intelligence point, and the next, he gets agility. The one after, he gets a spirit stat. Haran continues like this, and he racks up points. The notification keeps popping up as he drinks from the girls. The girls are left in an excited state. They tremble in joy as they declare that they feel pain and pleasure while Haran bites into them. Some even say their soul is connected to Haran and they feel like they are ascending. Haran is glad after he is done feeding on them, as he realizes that every single one of them triggered blood fusion. Because of this, he has gained a load of attribute points. However, he thinks their reaction to him biting down on their necks is a bit much. In addition to the attributes notification, Haran is informed that the affection levels of the succubi have all increased. Haran is surprised that the succubi have sensitive bodies that he never knew about. After he is done feeding, they retire to the succubus village. That night, Nico heads to Haran's room, and she announces her presence as she enters the room. Apparently, Nico is there to get more freaky with Haran since the other girls are not around. She walks up to Haran's bed and gently climbs on it, revealing that since Haran left his mark on her, she has been craving the thrilling sensation. Because of this, she wants them to deepen their connection. She expects Haran to show how naughty he is since they are alone in the room. Nico wants her master to turn her into a proper demon, and she excitedly places her hands on the sheets. Just then, she notices that something is awfully wrong. What she is touching is giving her a very weird sensation. Curious, she yanks off the sheet, and underneath she meets a log of wood. Nico is surprised to see this, realizing that her master has found something else that he takes more importance than her. Meanwhile, Haran is somewhere else, where he is trying to level up. Even though he is still a level 1 vampire, he is packed with stats after he absorbed lots of blood from the girls. Haran already places priority on trying to get real combat experience so he can level up. After this, he plans to go after Zijan and take his revenge on the piece of trash who left him for dead. Haran is at a graveyard, and he can feel yin energy oozing from the graveyard. Since he has gained experience by going out with extermination squads, he already knows that places like the graveyard are crawling with monsters. He believes that he will be able to lure out the monsters if he releases some magic power. Haran gets into position and lets out a terrifying aura to see what will happen. His magic resonates with the undead, and they troop out of their graves, demanding to know who has come to disturb their peace. There are a bunch of Tier 1 faceless ghosts staring at him, ready to teach him some life lessons. All the faceless ghosts turn out to be undead women, and they rush at Haran. Haran remains unfazed, and the first ghost that comes at him gets its head punched off. Haran confidently tells the ghosts that they are nothing but Tier 1 monsters, and they cannot kill him. The rest come rushing at Haran, but he can sense the green aura around them, giving him the confidence that they are not on his level. He continues to decimate, trash, and mop the floor with the faceless ghosts. As he does this, he gains a ton of experience, and in no time, he gets to level 5. He gains a bunch of attributes with this, too. The faceless ghosts soon realize that they are no match for Haran, and they turn around to dip out of there before they get turned into marshmallows like their comrades. However, Haran is not about to let them leave as he chases after them like an insane debt collector. While chasing them down, he unlocks a new skill, the Crimson Flash. This is a skill that gives him 2 short-distance dashes within 5 seconds. Taking down the undead, Haran finally realizes what it feels like to fight monsters as an awakened. Haran is glad that he got the power as he smiles. In no time, he reaches level 8, and he is pleased with himself that he is no longer the useless bag carrier that he used to be. Looking at his status panel, he realizes that he has packed up points like crazy. He figures out that strength, agility, and stamina will be his main driving points during combat situations. Since he just unlocked an agility-based skill, the Crimson Flash, he believes that he doesn't need to put too many points in agility. He decides to focus his points on strength and stamina. Suddenly, he gets a sudden danger warning. He looks up to see a terrifying Tier 2 butcher, the Overseer, staring at him. The monster is considered to be dangerous for Haran's level since the system even writes the monster's name in yellow. The monster swings its broadsword at Haran, but he manages to dodge it at the last minute before he gets cut in half. Haran figures that the monster is pretty huge, but it is slow because of its size. To make it worse, there are two of them. Howran almost gets squashed with an anchor, but he manages to leap off the ground just in time. Howran remembers that the faceless ghosts had their names written in green, and this was why he had no trouble decimating them. However, the butcher's name is yellow, which means it is stronger. Even though they look way stronger than he is, Howran is not ready to give up. He is determined to use the second chance that fate gave him pretty well. He goes after one of the butchers and dodges its huge sword before getting behind to kick the butcher at the back of its head. However, his kicks do nothing to the butcher, and Howran realizes that there is no way he is hurting the beast with his fists and kicks. The other monster whips its chain toward Howran's direction, and just as he is about to get caught in it, Howran activates the Crimson Flash. With this, he is able to escape the chain's grasp in milliseconds, saving his life. Howran makes it to a safe distance, and he realizes that dealing with the two butchers at the same time is hard work, since the two have a way of covering each other's backs. However, while he was engaging them, he was able to pull out a broken iron sword from the butcher's body. Howran believes that he has what it takes to defeat the butchers as long as the fight is not prolonged. He charges toward the monster and he manages to block its incoming attack with his broken sword. Howran lets the butcher know that he is in no way scared of him since he already put 80% of his points into strength, and he knows fully well that if they go head-to-head, he might actually win, even though it is risky. Howran engages in a zigzag movement before vanishing, leaving the butcher to wonder where Howran is. Before the butcher knows what is happening, Howran appears right above him. Howran sinks his sword right into the butcher's head, splitting his skull and spilling blood everywhere. By killing the butcher, Howran gets the notification that he is leveled up and he has gained 5 attributes. Howran cannot believe that just by defeating one monster, he leveled up pretty well. He realizes that this is why fighting strong monsters is so addictive. Because he got to level 10, the system tells him that he has unlocked a new skill, Blood Prison Burial. This summons a blood swamp in the target area to slow enemies and launches blood blades to cause heavy damage. After defeating the first butcher, the second one screams in horror, and Howran mocks him. The color on the second butcher turns green, and Howran points out that this basically means he has no chance against him. Howran assures the second butcher that he will soon send him to meet his friend. The butcher throws his anchor at Howran, but he easily dodges it. Howran is confident that he knows how to move his way around monsters since he has watched the extermination squad doing their thing. Since he is way above the butcher now, Howran easily dodges its attacks. Howran then decides that he is going to finish off the butcher with his new skill, the Blood Prison Burial. He activates the skill, and the butcher gets trapped in the blood before getting impaled with blood blades. The butcher dies a horrible death, and this sends chills down Howran's spine. He realizes how brutal the skill is. Because he defeated the butcher, he earns a new title, the Undead Slayer. The system lets him know that the title grants him 5% additional damage against undead enemies when he uses it. Day soon breaks, and Howran is proud of the progress he has made so far even though it was pretty risky. He has reached level 11, and he has loads of stats to boot. He is glad that at this rate, he is going to catch up to Zijin pretty fast. Just then, the system tells him that he has activated the daily quest, and he must complete it. He wonders what the daily quest might be, and he decides to check it out. He is pretty sure that there is going to be a reward for completing it. The quest is for him to absorb fresh blood from at least one opposite gender in a day. Since he can only fuse with one character once, it must be a woman he has not drunk from before. And the penalty for failing this is a random deduction of 5 points. After he sees this, Howran realizes that the system is giving him a terrible deal. He remembers that he already drained all the women in the village the day before, and the system is just telling him that he needs to suck a woman's blood. He is pissed that the system is basically trying to mess with him. He is in the middle of a graveyard, and he wonders where he is supposed to find a woman to drain. Suddenly, it dawns on him that the faceless ghosts are all women. He knows he has defeated the ghosts, but since they are all of the opposite gender, he assumes that draining them of their blood should still count for the quest to be approved. Howran smiles, believing that he has found a loophole to his problem. He sinks his teeth into the undead, but to his surprise, the system tells him that the target's blood is rotten and cannot trigger blood fusion. Howran assumes that it happened because the target had been dead for too long. Since there are loads of faceless ghosts in the area, he believes that one of them should work. He immediately grabs another undead, but to his surprise, he is hit with the same result. He tried everything, but none of them worked, leaving Howran to hold his head in frustration. He figures out that it is not working because they are undead, and they don't have fresh blood in the first place. He blames himself for being too greedy and draining all the women in the village the day before. Howran screams out in frustration, and he lets out his magic aura because he needs a woman, or else he will have to pay a penalty with his points being deducted. Meanwhile, Nico is lying down in Howran's bed, and she is taking in his body scent. Suddenly, the aura released by Howran reaches her, and she immediately realizes that her master needs her. Meanwhile, the Red City group is heading toward Howran's location. They sensed a strange surge of magic the day before, and they are there to investigate. This was a magic surge that had not happened before in the past, and it piqued their interest. One of them is convinced that they are going to be well rewarded if they bring back the reason behind the magic surge. However, his counterpart argues with him, telling him that they are going to be in serious trouble if they can't handle the cause behind the magic surge. The leader of the team then jumps into the conversation, telling her subordinates that there is no room for fear. She assures them that they have nothing to worry about as long as she is with them. The beautiful lady is Li Shur. Shur is also worried that other agencies will be after the magic surge since they are not the only ones who sensed it. She wants them to be the first on the scene and claim the trophy for themselves before anyone else. Not long after this, they arrive at Howran's location. Howran is shocked to see humans in the area, and he wonders if there is a woman in the vehicle approaching him. Just then, the two guys in front step outside, wondering if Howran is the dude that they are looking for. One of them reveals that Howran is the exact match of what they are looking for. However, he is disappointed that the magic level is only tier 2, which is weak. Howran ignores them, and he is totally disappointed that the occupants of the car turned out to be men. He easily figures out that the men are there to hunt him because of the way they are dressed and their pose. He is about to give up on them when Zhur majestically steps out of the vehicle. Zhur immediately figures out that Howran is from the vampire race. It turns out that Zhur is quite powerful since she is a lower-class gold warrior. Zhur writes Howran off, saying it is not worth her time. She tells her subordinates to handle the situation. She wants them to lock Howran in the trunk of the vehicle after they are done restraining him. On the other hand, Howran cannot hide his excitement since what he is looking for just walked right to him. He needed a woman, and one just appeared, but he is worried that Zhur is a gold tier awakened. He is very sure that there is no way he can go up against Zhur since the system even indicates this with a red title. To make things worse, her subordinates are even a problem. Since he can't sit around for them to kill him, Howran swings into action. Using Crimson Flash, he vanishes right in front of them like a puff of smoke. Before anyone knows what is happening, he appears behind Zhur. Zhur is shocked as she never expected a tier 2 vampire to be moving the way Howran is moving. Howran grabs her from behind and hugs her tightly. Zhur's eyes turn red in amazement, realizing that Howran just touched her in one of her sensitive parts. She wonders what to do since this is the first time she has found herself in such a compromising position. The guys scream at Howran, telling him to get off their unit leader. While still frozen in excitement, Zhur asks Howran what he is trying to do. She wants to know why Howran is holding on to her. But just then, Howran apologizes for what he is about to do since he can't help it. He sinks his teeth into Zhur, and with this, the notification comes on, telling him that he has completed his daily quest. Zhur has grown to become a woman, and in all of her years, no boy has touched her body. She finds it hard to control what she is feeling, and she ends up throwing Howran away using her powers. Howran hits a tree, but sticks the superhero landing while telling Zhur that she actually likes him instead of her claims. Zhur cannot believe that Howran didn't just touch her body, but even left a mark on her neck. Howran gets the notification that Zhur's affection level has increased to 30%. Zhur tells Howran that the only way she can forgive him is by turning him into an ice sculpture. Howran is surprised to hear all of this from Zhur since she means the opposite of what she is actually saying. Howran lets her know that he can see through her. With her face red like a tomato, she tells Howran to stop saying nonsense. Howran figures that he might get a chance to escape since Zhur doesn't have the intention to kill him. Suddenly, a gold plate card comes dashing at Howran at high speed, almost decapitating him. However, Zhur jumps in and catches the card before Howran gets hurt. Zhur realizes that the attacker is hiding somewhere in the area, and she suggests that the person come out. Just then, the dudes responsible for the sneak attack step out from inside the woods where they are hiding. The two reveal that they have no bad intentions, and Zhur should calm her nerves. The two guys are Zhengzhi, and he is a low-tier gold rank awakened. The other guy is Yuan, and he is an upper-class gold tier awakened. The two are from the elite center, and Zheng suggests that they hand Howran over to them. Howran realizes that there is more trouble for him since the ones who just appeared are all strong. He wonders why fate is basically against him that very day. Zhur then tells Zheng and Yuan that there is no way that they are handing Howran over to them. Zhur lets them know that they are the first on the scene, and because of this, Howran belongs to them. Howran realizes that he can actually use the situation to his advantage. He starts telling Zhur sweet words, letting her know that she is a very noble woman who only deserves him. The moment he says this, the system informs him that Zhur's affection has increased to 40%. Trying so hard to hide that she is blushing, Zhur tells Yuan and Zheng that Howran belongs to the Red City group. She can't control how she is feeling, but she lets them know that they will have to go through her before they can get to Howran. Howran continues to hype Zhur, telling her that she has an overwhelming presence, and he tells her that the dudes from the elite center have no chance against her. Just by keeping this up, Zhuor's affection rises to 45%. Haoran teases them further, telling Zhuor that her subordinates are capable men and would not allow anything to happen to her. The two affirm Haoran's suggestion, saying the Red City group has never been afraid of anyone. Yuan realizes that there is no way to convince Zhuor and her men unless they resort to violence. Zheng unleashes a bunch of cards to try and take Zhuor out, but she easily deflects the cards with her blizzard. Zhuor then goes on the offensive, directing her attack toward Zheng and Yuan. Zheng gets caught in the blizzard, and he finds himself covered in snow, making him cold. Yuan figures out that Zhuor is a pretty smart woman, as she is using the situation to her advantage. Yuan smiles, telling Haoran that they have finally found a worthy opponent. Zhuor is worried since her attack didn't even touch Yuan. At the same time, she doesn't know what Yuan's game is. Zhuor decides to go after Yuan, and she tells her subordinates to keep an eye on Haoran to prevent him from escaping. She leaps into the air, using her ice powers, leaving Haoran amazed. Zhuor looks absolutely deadly as she constructs an ice song spell. From the spell, a giant ice flower emerges, but Zheng believes that Zhuor's attack is nothing. Zheng realizes how wrong he is when the ice flower hits him directly. Zhuor's subordinates are happy to see this as they celebrate their wonderful squad leader. When the dust clears, Zheng finds himself trapped in an ice wall. However, Yuan remains standing and unharmed. He teases Zheng, telling him that there is no way he is going back to his father to report their current situation to him. Yuan mocks Zheng for getting himself whooped by a woman. Zhuor hears this, and she gets mad since Yuan's mentality is that women are weak. Zhuor puts her power into overdrive, telling Yuan that he is next on the list. However, Yuan remains unfazed, telling Zhuor that she is overestimating herself. Suddenly, Zhuor's subordinates get hit with arrows from an unknown attacker, and the arrows immediately petrify them. This catches both Zhuor and Yuan's attention, as they can't seem to understand what just went down. Yuan's eyes light up in shock, wondering if another challenger has just shown up. Suddenly, the attacker reveals themselves, and it turns out to be Nico. She rushes over to Haoran, hugging and talking about how pleased she is that she found her master. Haoran is surprised and glad to see Nico. He asks her how she is able to find him, and Nico reveals that she sensed that Haoran needed her. While smiling and blushing, Nico mentions that she rushed over to help, and she is always ready to give her all, as long as she is helping her master. Haoran also admits that having Nico by his side is a precious gift. The two hold each other, leaving everyone else confused as to what is happening between the two. Before Zhuor knows it, she is already fuming with anger. She doesn't know why she is angry, but believes that it is all because of Haoran and Nico. However, she trashes this thought as she is not ready to believe. She assumes that she is mad because Nico turned her subordinates into stone. She dashes over to the two, telling them to stop being clingy on the battlefield. She wants Nico to return her subordinates to their normal state, but before she can get to the two, Yuan intercepts her. Yuan tells Zhuor that she needs to be punished for hitting Zheng. Zhuor barely manages to track Yuan's movements, and she realizes that Yuan is pretty strong. With just one hit to the chest, Yuan sends Zhuor flying like she is trash. Haoran is shocked when he sees this. He finally understands the true power of a gold upper class awakened. He realizes that even Zhuor, who is a gold low-class tier awakened, doesn't have a chance against Yuan. Haoran admits that he and Nico combined cannot even hurt Yuan. Just then, he remembers that the system told him reaching 100 affection with his follower will grant him a mysterious reward. Haoran comes to the bitter realization that this might be the only way he is going to escape from Yuan. Even Nico can sense how strong Yuan is, but she is not ready to show signs of weakness when she is beside her master. As Yuan walks toward them, he talks about how lucky he is that he will get a vampire and a succubus. He is confident that his father will now see him as a real man, not a loser. He assures Haoran and Nico that their death will be fast and painless. Nico is not ready to stand by and watch her master get trampled upon. Nico unleashes a bunch of attack arrows, aiming to strike Yuan, but he easily brushes off the arrows like they are nothing. Just as Yuan is about to grab them, Haoran activates his Crimson Flash skill. Yuan loses his opportunity to grab them as Haoran vanishes with Nico. Yuan is surprised to see this, as he considers it pretty impossible for a Tier 2 vampire to be able to do what he just did. Yuan turns around to see Haoran and Nico standing in the woods. On the other hand, Haoran is worried that they are truly done for since he has used up his Crimson Flash skill. Haoran decides that he needs to get Nico to 100% before Yuan decides to take them down. At the same time, he wonders why Nico's affection hasn't increased yet. Nico is feeling bad, apologizing to her master for being a piece of trash who can't help at the right time. She assures Haoran that she is going to work harder from that moment forward. Just then, Haoran decides to take a big risk even though there is a powerful foe staring at them. Nonetheless, Haran proceeds to kiss her, and the moment he does this, her affection immediately rises to 99%. Yuen is totally disgusted at the sight of the two kissing, and he concludes that monsters will always be trash to begin with. He angrily lets off his aura to show how pissed he is. He asks them if they would have started going down with each other if he wasn't present there. Enraged, he tells them that he is going to crush them with nothing remaining. Yuen rushes toward them, but Haoran can only pray that Nico gets to 100% before they are both crushed by Yuen. Before he can reach them, Shure constructs an ice shield around the two, protecting them from the enraged Yuen. This only gets Yuen even madder, and he turns to look at Shure, warning her from overstepping her boundaries. However, Shure is not ready to back down in front of an enemy, and she tells him to back off since the vampire is hers. She restates the fact that Yuen will have to go through her if he wants to get to Haoran. While the two are going at each other, Haoran finally unlocks the optimal stage with Nico. Nico's affection reaches 100% because Nico is so happy that her master kissed her on the battlefield. Because of reaching 100% with Nico, the system informs Haoran that he has unlocked a mysterious reward. He gets access to a one-time usage for the skill, Peak Blood. This skill unlocks all attributes and skills of the Blood Demon God, giving him unparalleled combat power, and this lasts for 10 minutes. Without hesitation, Haoran activates the skill, unleashing a terrifying aura into the surroundings. Fear grips Shure and Yuen, realizing how scary Haoran has suddenly become. Haoran breaks the ice wall, and with a cool pose and steaming aura, he reminds Yuen that he threatened to grind him to dust. He teases him, telling him to come at him and try it. Yuen is absolutely gripped with fear, wondering how Haoran's magical power suddenly spiked when he was nothing but a Tier 2 monster. Haoran berates Yuen for not attacking, and he lets him know that the only chance he gave him is now gone. Haoran activates a skill, Demon Hand, and he uses this to drag Yuen closer to him. Yuen tries resisting, but he can't until he reaches Haoran, and he grabs him by the neck, choking him. Yuen realizes how powerless he is against Haoran, and he starts begging him not to kill him. Haoran is surprised to hear this, and he reminds Yuen that he was bragging just a minute ago. Yuen continues begging, telling Haoran that he is wrong for not realizing how strong he is from the start. He wants Haoran to forgive him, but that moment reminds Haoran of something. The way he was holding Yuen with just one hand reminds him of when Zijin did the same to him. He talks about how Zijin treated him like trash, which was going to be discarded. Haoran then remembers that Zijin was an awakened registered under the Elite Center. Just remembering this, Haoran is not ready to forgive Yuen. Haoran throws him into the distance but follows through with a punch to the gut. The effect of the punch reels through Haoran's body as his eyes turn totally red, as if it is about to burst out. Yuen crashes into the ground as he stumbles further. He ends up hitting the ground like a missile, leaving him totally crashed. Yuen is so weak that he can't lift a single finger. Haoran walks up to him and stands above him like a proper maniac. He finally gets the feeling that comes with strong guys looking down on those who are weaker than they are. Haoran declares that the power of the demon god is absolutely broken. He wonders if he is ever going to reach this peak level with his own strength. On the other hand, Shure is still frozen in fear as she wonders if Haoran is the same vampire who bit her some moments ago. She believes that Haoran was basically hiding his powers all along. Shure is confused as to why Haoran acted so weak, and she assumes that he was intentionally holding back. Nico is watching this unfold, and she is smiling, talking about how pleased she is that she chose Haoran as her master. She looks totally red while admiring her master from where she is. Just then, Jung decides that it is time to break out of the ice cage that Shure put him in. He shatters the cage, feeling like he is about to do something crazy. He mentions that Shure only got the chance to seal him because he let his guard down. He assures them that he won't hold back again. Just then, he sees Haoran standing there, totally unfazed and unbothered. He wonders what Haoran is doing just standing there to aura farm. Haoran is disgusted just by hearing Jung's voice, and he unleashes a skill called Red Storm. Thousands of bats swarm out as he activates the skill. Jung believes that this is nothing short of disgusting, and he screams at Haoran to get the bats off. However, the bats surround him like flies, and by the time they are done, only bones are left of Jung. Defeating Jung granted Haoran 5 levels, and he realized that gold tier enemies give loads of experience points. The Red Storm basically releases a swarm of bats to attack Haoran's target, and they are very effective against a group of enemies. Haoran is glad that he managed to unlock the skill as a permanent one. While lying down in pain, Yuen begs for someone to help or even save him. Haoran turns to him, telling him to speak louder since he can't hear him. Yuen is forced to tell Haoran that he is scared of dying. He tells Haoran that his father is the president of the Elite Center, and he promises to do anything that Haoran wants if he would just let him go. Once Haoran ascertains the fact that Yuen is begging to go home, he assures him that he is going to help him get home. Yuwen foolishly thanks Haoran for this, saying Haoran is a good person and he will reward him for being good. Haoran grabs Yuwen with his telekinetic powers, assuring Yuwen that he doesn't need to reward him since he is just a chill guy. Using his powers, Haoran launches Yuwen straight into the air. Shur is shocked when she sees this, and she realizes that Yuwen has just been thrown in the direction of City J. She realizes that Haoran is actually sending Yuwen home just like he requested, but with add-on bonuses. The force with which Haoran throws the boy is so much that he crashes into mountains, but he keeps going. Yuwen continues flying until he reaches his father's building. He crashes into the building, or whatever is left of it. Once he reaches the city, just as requested, Haoran receives a ton of attribute points. Haoran smiles evilly, mentioning that Yuwen has gotten home safely when he clearly knows that there is not so much left of the dude. Haoran gets an additional 5-level boost by defeating Yuwen, but he believes that his experience points should have been higher. However, he figures out that the higher he goes, the more experience he is going to need to level up. Haoran then turns around to look at Shur, who is already trembling in fear, wondering if it is her turn to get trashed. Haoran then tells Nico that there is something he needs from her, and he would like her to cooperate. Shur hears this, and fear grips her, wondering if Haoran's next plan involves her. Nico assures her master that she is ready to do whatever it is that he wants. Haoran then activates the skill, Soul Resonance. The moment he does this, Nico starts feeling energy ripping through her body. The energy focuses especially inside her chest. Nico feels like something is about to burst out of her chest. Just then, the handle of a sword emerges from her chest, leaving her surprised as she doesn't know that she has something like that hidden inside of her. She wonders if this is Haoran's sword coming out of her. The sword continues to emerge with a burning sensation filling up Nico's body. She begs Haoran to slowly pull out the sword from her chest. Haoran walks up to Nico, grabs the sword, and he starts to pull it, telling her that this is a result of their soul resonance, and he assures Nico that she will be fine. Haoran continues pulling the sword, and in no time, he completely removes it from her chest. Apparently, the soul resonance skill can only be activated when a follower's affection reaches maximum. This resonance then creates a special piece of equipment from the follower's body. The piece of equipment he got from Nico is the Bloodblade Bradshaw. Haoran smiles, realizing that he now has a weapon. Shur is shocked when she sees Haoran pull a sword out of Nico's chest. Shur almost pees in fear, telling Haoran that with how strong he is, he shouldn't need a weapon to deal with her. She also wonders if Haoran intentionally pulled out the sword just so he could finish her off. Haoran walks up to Shur, telling her that she is overthinking things. He swings his sword and he hits Shur with the effect of the sword. Momentarily, Shur's clothing gets stripped off, and Shur can feel the chill sensation running through her body. Shur holds her body, telling Haoran to kill her if he wants to, but he should not take off her coverings. Haoran then tells her to keep her mouth shut, and he lets her know that what he just did with her is nothing but a warm-up. He lets her know that there is only one way she is walking out alive and not joining the others in heaven. He tells her to follow him to the small woods at the back. He lets Shur know that there is something important he needs to discuss with her. Shur realizes how fugged she is, wondering what Haoran is planning to talk about and why he is acting so nonchalant. She also questions the reason behind Haoran taking her to a secluded place. A lot runs through her head since she doesn't know what Haoran actually wants. Just then, Shur realizes something quite important. She believes that Haoran didn't kill her earlier on because there is just one reason. She believes that Haoran likes her, and he is planning to take advantage of her beautiful and magnificent body. Shur concludes that Haoran might be a vampire, but he is no different from regular humans after all. Shur admits that Haoran is quite handsome, leaving her to think of the extreme. Shur takes it too far by imagining Haoran forcing his handsome body on her while smiling like a devil. Just then, Haoran backs up to a tree. Shur's face turns totally red like a tomato, realizing that this might be her first time being taken advantage of. She concludes that everything Haoran is about to do to her goes against every moral principle that she knows. Suddenly, Haoran tells Shur to repeat everything he says. He wants her to say that she pledges loyalty to him and will never ever betray him. Shur is shocked to hear this, wondering if Haoran is messing around with her. With a stern and scary face, Haoran lets her know that he didn't spare her life just so she can question his authority. With a command voice, he tells her to just say the word. Realizing that she has no choice, Shur starts blushing as she says the words. After saying that, she asks Haoran if he is now happy. Just then, the system notifies Haoran that he has gained a new follower, and he is free to check out the details. When Haoran checks her details, he realizes that she is 24 years old. For her traits, she is powerful, and she is an extremely competitive person. She appears cold and stern on the outside, but she is actually a good person deep down. In addition to this, she is narcissistic, and she loves dominant men. For her affection level, it is currently at 45%. Haoran smiles, telling Shur that he is actually satisfied. Shur melts from sheer excitement as Howran moves closer to her. She wonders what Howran is trying to do. She concludes that Howran is about to kiss her, which will make it her first kiss. Just then, Howran shocks her by pulling back and revealing that the reward ends right there. Shur is shocked to see this, asking Howran about the rest. Howran assures Shur that the petrification on her subordinates will wear off soon. He tells her to take her subordinates and leave the area. However, he lets her know that she doesn't have the liberty to tell anyone what happened. He says this with a very stern face to let her know how much he means it. Shur freezes in fear, and after this, Howran just walks away, telling Shur that he is done with her. Shur is forced to ask Howran to wait, and Howran turns around, asking Shur what it is that she wants again. She tells Howran that her subordinates will lose their minds if they wake up to see her the way she is. She begs Howran to help her figure something out concerning this. Howran indulges her and gives her his clothes to wear. Shur is blown away by this as she can feel Howran's presence and scent on the cloth. Because of this, her affection rises to 60%. She blushes so hard with love written all over her face. After the day's activity, Howran retires to the succubus village. He is pleased with himself because he managed to reach level 21 and even unlocked many new skills. He is already getting addicted to the feeling that comes with getting stronger, and he realizes that he needs to keep pushing forward. Just then, he gets a notification telling him that he can now challenge the blood prison because he has reached level 21. The system asks him if he would like to proceed. However, the system lets him know that he can't earn points in the arena, and injuries sustained will not heal automatically once he advances floors or leaves the arena. However, he will be granted generous rewards if he manages to clear the arena. Howran is shocked to learn that his injuries will not heal in between fights, and this can mess up his leveling pace. He knows that the most logical thing would be leveling up before taking on the challenge, but he doesn't want to sit around without doing anything. Howran gets up on his feet and agrees to take on the challenge. He declares that those who are bold will be the only ones to be rewarded. The arena opens, and Howran steps inside like a proper vampire king. The arena gives him a new outfit, and it matches up to the last-minute detail. The system then welcomes him to the preparation room, telling him to choose a weapon for battle. Surrounding Howran are a bunch of weapons, ranging from axes to swords. There is the knight's two-handed sword for him to choose. There is also the heart-piercing dagger. The mighty battle axe is also an option, and then there is the sun shield. Each of the weapons comes with bonus stats, and no matter which one he picks, he is going to get power-ups. However, he is confused about what weapon to pick since he doesn't have weapon skills. Suddenly, he notices a long threaded cucumber with no stat boosts. However, using this to poke enemies repeatedly causes them to spasm for a bit. Without thinking twice, he immediately picks the cucumber. He knows the cucumber looks pretty ridiculous, but he knows that using it well will come in handy. Momentarily, the system tells him to pick a buff to help him in battle. There is the armor breaker buff, and every attack he makes lowers the enemy's defense by 1%. There is the potion buff, and it instantly restores 30% of health. And the equipment force gives him a random piece of gear. Howran is disappointed that he gets to pick a buff when he doesn't even know his enemy yet. Since he is a true gamer, he knows that reducing the enemy's defense will always be a solid choice. Because of this, he chooses the armor breaker buff. After choosing his weapon and his buff effect, he gets teleported to the blood arena. He lands in the blood arena, and the system welcomes him. He looks around and realizes that he is definitely in an arena because it looks like the Colosseum. There are spectators all around, and the host welcomes Howran to the first floor of the blood prison arena. Howran learns that there are 50 floors, and each of the floors has its own defender. He is told to beat the defenders to win rewards so he can move to the next floor. The host and commentator, Sally, introduces herself with a charming voice. Howran cannot believe that there is a live commentator in the arena. He immediately figures out that he is in for an annoying ride. Sally informs the spectators that Howran is a vampire with scarlet powers, but he is still a rookie. She wonders if he will be able to pull an upset in the arena. With this, Sally introduces the first floor defender. She emerges from the arena entrance wearing a white dress, but tears run down her cheeks. Howran is forced to ask her why she is crying, and she replies that she is the one who speaks to the dead, and she can see when people are about to die. With her words, she appears very scary, and she turns out to be a banshee with the name Bin Hida. Hida tells Howran that she appears when the end is near so she can wail for the doomed. Hida continues crying, telling Howran that she can sense an overwhelming aura of death around him, which is why she is going to cry for him. Howran is shocked to hear this, asking Hida if she believes that he is going to die in the arena. Howran is also confused as to why Hida's name is now showing a power ranking. He wonders if the arena has messed with the system's display settings. Howran decides to stop overthinking it since he can easily feel the sense of power coming from Hida. Howran makes the first move, unleashing the Red Storm skill on her. However, Hida easily takes down the bats without even moving. The bats get slashed to pieces, and Hida assures Howran that his bats can't do anything to her. Hida makes her move, and before Howran knows it, Hida vanishes from where she is and appears right behind Howran. She declares the fight over as she tries to decapitate Howran. Surprisingly, Howran dodges her strike. He leaps into the air, teasing Hida, and telling her that he intentionally baited her. Since the red storm didn't work on her, he wants to see how she is going to handle his long-threaded cucumber. He tries to poke her with the cucumber, but she smacks it off his hand, telling him that she won't allow him to poke her with it. Sally gives a commentary about this for those who are clearly blind or watching the other side of the arena. Sally suggests that the fight might be going in Hida's favor. Suddenly, Sally changes things up, saying things are now going in Howran's way. Howran has managed to grab Hida, and he has put her in a compromising position. Hida is shocked that she can't move her body, wondering how Howran turned out to be stronger than she is. Howran knocks Hida to the ground while sitting on top of her. He holds her still, saying he is surprised that his weapon of choice actually did a pretty good job. He tells Hida that the moment she saw the cucumber, she lost her composure. Howran then suggests that Hida concede defeat because it is clear that he is stronger than her, and there is no way she is escaping his grasp. Howran continues to taunt her, telling her that he won't hurt her if she stays still. However, Hida gets mad and she wails loudly. The effect of her cry is enough to throw Howran away. Howran crashes into the wall and he realizes that Hida is not to be underestimated. The commentator announces Hida's comeback into the game, telling the spectators that Hida is about to use her ultimate move, the Wailing Alpha. This is a cry that awakens the deepest fear of death in Hida's targets. The cry crushes the target's mind, draining their will to fight until they are dragged into the abyss of death. Sally announces that Howran is done for if his mental strength is not up to the task. Just then, Howran grabs his head in pain, and the commentator immediately concludes that Howran is done for. She believes that Hida has won and the match has been decided. Suddenly, Howran finds himself standing in front of his mother. Howran is shocked to see his mother, and the lady calmly greets him, welcoming him. Howran is shocked as his eyes lit up in total disbelief. He is forced to ask his mother again if it is really her. The woman teases Howran, asking him who else it would be if not her. His mother is impressed by how much Howran has grown over the years. She then stretches her hand toward Howran, telling him to take her hand so that she can see him better. In addition, she wants them to stay together and never leave each other again. Howran walks toward his mother as he plans to take her hand just like she requested. Suddenly, he hears his mother saying they should go to paradise together and never leave each other. Howran comes to a halt, and his mother asks him why he suddenly stopped. She urges him to make it quick and hold her hand so that they can leave. Howran then speaks out, telling his supposed mother that death is not a new thing to him. He has been betrayed by his teammates and thrown to the monster as bait so he can die. In addition to this, he has suffered from strange illnesses, living under the constant fear that he might die anytime soon. He has also managed to survive battles between awakened beings and monsters when he was a kid. Howran mentions that his mother risked her life to save him and his sister. After saying all of this, he expels a really scary aura from his body, revealing that he didn't suffer all of this just to get his life taken away because of some cheap trick. Howran returns to the arena, shocking everyone, including Hida. Hida cannot believe that her ultimate move didn't work on Howran. Howran pulls his cucumber back to his hand while Sally commends him for breaking through Hida's ultimate move. She commends his mental fortitude, saying it is incredible. Sally believes that the fight just got more interesting. Just then, Howran activates a skill, blood concealment, and he tells Hida that he has figured out her abilities. The moment he puts the skill to action, Howran becomes invisible. Hida scoffs at Howran, telling him that his stealth technique will not protect him from what she is about to do to him. A strong purple aura emanates from her body as she unleashes raw energy into attacks. She unleashes the attack, and it covers everywhere in the arena. With this, she believes that she has covered everywhere in the arena, and there is nothing that will save Howran. Suddenly, she feels the cucumber poking her mouth. The moment the cucumber does this, the armor breaker effect comes into play. Howran teases her, telling her to stop crying like a baby. This shocks everyone, including Sally. They can't believe that Howran broke through Hida's charm like it was nothing. Before Hida knows what is happening, Howran pokes her with the cucumber yet again. He repeatedly pokes Hida, and with this, he reduces her defense by 1% every time he does it. Hida cannot believe that a cucumber can be this strong. She realizes that every poke from the cucumber hurts more than the last, making it totally unbearable for her. She is in so much pain that she can't bear it anymore, but Howran is not done with her just yet. He puts in more effort and activates his final combo, forcing Hida to enter a spasm state. Hida crashes to the ground as her defense keeps dropping. She lies on the ground with no way to move or even control her body. She starts shaking uncontrollably while wondering what is actually happening to her. By the time Howran is done with her, a loud explosion rocks the arena, leaving Hida in a crater. Howran stands proudly, asking Hida if she would like him to continue poking her. Hida apologizes, begging Howran to stop with the poking. She has lost all of her defenses, and she is still losing them. Realizing that she has no way of coming back into the fight, she surrenders. Even the commentator Sally loses herself in the fight as she watches Howran deal with Hida. She is lost in her thoughts until Howran snaps her out of it, asking her to declare the match over since Hida has surrendered. Sally is forced to apologize, telling Howran that she lost her composure after witnessing such a gracious performance from him. Sally then announces that Howran is the winner of the match after Hida surrendered. She reveals that Howran is now qualified to enter the second floor of the arena. For his reward, Howran gets a +10 abnormal status resistance. This increases resistance against mind control, poison, bleeding, and other negative effects. He also gets a skill point, which allows him to upgrade an unlocked skill to enhance its effects. Howran is impressed by the rewards he got. He realizes that they not only boost his attributes, but they can also upgrade his skills. He admits that coming to the arena was actually worth it for him. The system then asks him if he would like to proceed to the second floor. Howran is wise enough to know that he has gotten what he came for, and rushing into another battle to impress anyone might cost him his life. Howran promises to come back to the arena once he levels up. With this, he rejects the offer to proceed to the next floor, and he steps out of the arena. Just as he steps a foot on the outside, the system notifies him that he has unlocked a hidden skill, Victor's Pact. Howran is shocked that he got a hidden skill, and he wonders why the skill waited till he left the arena before coming on. Howran then checks the details of the skill, and he realizes that it is a skill that allows him to convert opponents defeated in the arena into his followers. This skill allows him to summon them so that they can fight by his side. Howran is shocked and impressed by the skill at the same time. He cannot believe that he has been given something to summon those he defeats in the arena to come outside and help him in battles. He realizes that by the time he clears 50 floors, he will basically have an entire army to summon. Just as he reaches his door, he hears Nico's voice coming from inside. He opens the door to find Nico on his bed. Nico is romancing the bed while thinking about her master. She is absorbing Howran's scent from the bed, and she admits that the aura is so strong. She even believes that she is in heaven already. Suddenly, she realizes that her master's scent just got even stronger, and by the time she looks up, she sees Howran standing right there. Howran is shocked, and he asks her what it is that she is doing. Nico tries to justify her presence in the room, telling Howran that it is not what he thinks. She assures Howran that she is not doing anything weird on his bed. She reveals that she only came to bring new clothes for him since he already gave his coat to Shur. She holds the coat in her hands, revealing that she stayed up the entire night just to make an identical one to replace the one he gave out. Howran is happy to hear this, since he has been wondering where he was going to get a new coat. Howran pats Nico on the head, telling her that he can't do without her. Nico's body glows in love when she hears this. She believes that Howran just confessed to her that he can't do without her. She believes that with this, Howran wants her around forever. After he has survived 2 intense battles, Howran believes that it is finally time he gets some rest. However, something interesting happens the next morning. The village comes under attack from orcs. The leader of the invading unit tells his men to trample the village and get anything valuable out of it. He also wants them to make sure that the girls are all restrained so that they don't escape. Suddenly, love arrows hit some of the orcs, petrifying them at the spot. The orc leader turns to see Nico standing behind him. He is surprised that Nico is bold enough to attack his men. He wonders if Nico is tired of life, but Nico stands her ground. Nico tells the orc leader to release her comrades if he doesn't want to end up like his petrified soldiers. The orc leader scoffs at this, telling Nico that she is getting the wrong idea. He lets her know that she is done for already. Before Nico knows it, a bunch of orcs are already aiming for her from behind. Just as she is about to be crushed, the orcs are impaled by Howran's upgraded blood prison. Since the blood prison burial skill has been upgraded, it is no longer restricted to a fixed area. Blood spikes automatically lock onto multiple targets, and they even activate faster. Howran has most of the soldier orcs impaled like kebabs. Nico senses the aura before even seeing Howran, and she already knows that it is her master's handiwork. Howran assures Nico that he has everything under control, telling Nico that he will handle the invaders. The orc leader is surprised to see a vampire among the succubi. It turns out that the orc leader is a tier 3 beast, and he is an orc centurion. The orc leader suggests that Howran stay out of the fight because it is none of his business. This pisses Howran off, telling the orc leader that the women's blood is all in his system. He assures the orc leader that he has gone too far and that there is no turning back for him. Enraged, Howran activates the Victor's Pact skill, and he summons Hida. Immediately, Hida emerges, telling Howran that she is ready to serve him. Hida stays afloat to Aura Farm. Nico is impressed to see the creature that her master summoned. She is so happy that her master's summoned creature is also very powerful. The orc leader is not at all scared by Hida, as he believes that she is just another summoned creature that has been called upon to help Haoran. The orc leader reveals that he has 80 to 100 orcs under his command. However, Hida swings into action, and she unleashes her wailing power. This immediately affects the orcs, since they are not prepared for a psychological attack. The orc soldiers start stabbing themselves with their weapons. The thoughts of killing themselves take over. They consider themselves nothing but trash, who don't deserve to live. They start confessing all the bad things they have done while bashing their heads in. As they kill themselves, Haoran gains experience points too. The orc leader falls to the ground, realizing that his head is filled with dark thoughts. He is able to break free from the effect, pushing himself to the edge, declaring that he is an orc centurion. He stands back up, declaring that he carries the pride of all orcs. However, Haoran doesn't give him the chance to continue his speech before delivering a knee kick to his lower jaw, splashing blood everywhere. Haoran tells the orc that his definition of honor is totally out of it. Haoran doesn't stop there. He rotates his body to deliver a powerful kick to the orc's body. This sends a powerful wave of pain and shock through the orc's body, causing him to spill blood from his mouth like juice. While beating the crap out of him, Haoran lets the orc know that the survival of the succubus village relies on him. Haoran kicks him into the air, and while he is flying away without control over his body, Haoran activates his red storm, sending the swarm of bats after the orc leader. The orc leader declares that his defense is top tier, and Haoran's bats have no chance against him. He holds up his sword to block the attack of the bats. The orc leader boasts, telling Haoran that he would not have gotten the chance to defeat him if not for Hida's presence. Haoran reminds the orc leader that he invaded the village with a horde of orcs, and this makes him the last person to preach about getting a one-on-one duel. To finish off the orc leader, Hida and Nico combine their attacks, and this leaves a large explosion that takes down the orc leader. Haoran declares that his decision to hold back is his downfall. To finish him off, Haoran impales the orc leader with blood spikes. After defeating the orc leader, he gets the notification of the points that have been awarded to him and the fact that he has also leveled up. After Haoran makes sure that the orcs are defeated, he asks if everyone is fine, and Nico assures him that his presence made sure that the village survived without sustaining much damage. Nico adds that Haoran was totally badass while beating the orcs to a pulp. The other succubi believes that with what Haoran has done, the orcs will think twice before attacking the village again. They are so glad that Haoran has really helped them that they don't even know how they are going to repay him. Haoran lets Hida know that he is impressed with the way she carried herself, even though this is the first time he is going to summon her. He lets her know that she did really well, and he thanks her for wiping the orcs with her crying powers. Hida blushes hard while telling Haoran that it was her honor to serve. She assures Haoran that she will do whatever it is that he wants from her. Haoran immediately leverages this, telling Hida to follow him because he has an important mission for her. Haoran takes her into the woods and bites into her neck to suck her blood. Hida is shocked since Haoran just tortured her with his long cucumber, and he is already biting into her neck without letting go. She asks Haoran if what he is doing is one of his missions or if he is just trying to fulfill a fantasy. However, Hida is not complaining as she is ready to endure whatever it is that Haoran wants. While sucking Hida's blood, the system informs Haoran that Hida's affection has risen to 50%. With this, he also completes his daily quest to suck blood from the opposite gender once daily. After he is done drinking, Haoran tells Hida why he needs to drink her blood. He tells her that it is a necessity that he drinks blood every day to stay strong. Just then, he notices that Hida is acting all weird. He thinks Hida is anemic until he realizes that Hida is suffering from something else entirely. Hida reveals that after her fight against Haoran the day before, her body has been sensitive, and seeing Haoran again makes her relive the defeat she suffered. Hida is all wet, telling Haoran that his staying close to her makes her body feel very strange. She turns red while her body is totally wet, and she lets Haoran know that she needs to excuse herself. She vanishes from Haoran's presence to enjoy the pleasure that comes with getting wet. Later on, Nico bathes in the pool with another succubus. Nico talks about the good things that Haoran has done for the village, and she wonders how she can repay him. The succubus then tells her that there is only one way, and this is for her to offer her body to Haoran. Nico agrees with her friend, but she thinks Haoran is always so focused on battle that he doesn't even have the time for other social activities. In addition to this, Nico herself is inexperienced with men, and she wonders if she has what it takes to satisfy her master. The succubus then asks Nico if she thinks Haoran is not interested in her. Nico thinks this is the case since she has tried a few times, but it has never worked out. Nico's friend tells her that seducing men is an easy skill that all succubi need to have. She lets her know that she actually has it, but she is too innocent to manifest it. She then tells Nico that she has a way to make Haoran completely obsessed with her. She tells Nico to take off her towel so she can show her something quite important. Nico does as told and she stands in the pool with her nice and catchy body, asking her friend what she needs to do. After she has taken off her towel, her friend hits her with an energy blast. Nico is surprised at the outcome of what her friend did, asking her what just happened. Her friend tells her that her combat skills are the highest among the succubi. However, the heart-shaped mark that just appeared on her body is the only way she can finally call herself a true succubus. Meanwhile, Haoran realizes that the mana cost to use Victor's Pact is really crazy. He figures out that he needs to improve his mana if he wants to use the skill frequently. To keep his strength and stamina, he plans to train himself physically while adding his attribute points to his mana section. Haoran is undergoing his training session when Nico enters the room, looking all excited to see Haoran. She tells Haoran that she has finally figured out a way to repay him for his good works. Haoran is looking sweaty after his exercise, and he calls Nico's name in a very sweet voice that melts the girl's every emotion. Nico smiles in excitement as she stares at Haoran's physique, and she compares him to a perfectly sculpted masterpiece. Her body starts trembling just as the sheer sight of staring at Haoran's physique. Just then, Nico tries to use the status effect on Haoran, but it fails. The status effect she tried to use is the lust effect, but it turns out that Haoran is immune to the effect. It turns out that Nico's friend forgot to tell her that she is going to suffer a backlash if the status effect fails. She later realizes that Haoran is a blood demon god, and there is no freaking way that the effect will work on him. She wonders what will happen to Nico. In Haoran's room, he doesn't get mad at Nico, but is only concerned with the mark on her body. Nico reveals that her body feels so hot, and her head is running with crazy thoughts. She talks about how hard it is for her to control herself, and she begs Haoran to help her. Haoran drags her close and he hugs her, telling her that he understands how she feels. However, he lets her know that she is not thinking clearly in her current state. Nico then tells her master that he is free to do whatever he wants with her. Haoran doesn't hold back before kissing Nico. The following morning, Nico wakes up to find herself in Haoran's bed. She realizes that there is an endless surge of mana flowing through her body. Nico has never felt something like this in the past, and she compares it to a feeling of reaching the next level. Just then, it dawns on her that whatever she is feeling might be because of what happened over the night. She doesn't want to believe that Haoran is able to give out this kind of effect. She is glad that Haoran still went down with her even though her lust mark didn't work on Haoran. She compares the feeling to being devoured alive, and she admits that it was the most intense, mind-blowing experience she has ever flt in her entire existence. When Haoran wakes up, he gets slapped with the notification that his follower, Nico, has obtained Blood Demon Essence. Because of this, her stats have drastically increased, and she has also advanced to Tier 4. Even Haoran is shocked as he doesn't know that his essence can really do this. The system lets him know that the Blood Demon Essence only activates when a follower reaches 100% affection. However, a follower can only receive this effect once. Haoran figures out that the skill cannot be repeated, but even with that, he considers it a totally broken effect. The fact that Nico is now a Tier 4 beast means her stats are higher than those of Haoran. Haoran is lost in his thoughts, and Nico notices this. She asks Haoran if he is disappointed in her performance from the night before. Haoran quickly debunks this, telling Nico that she was impressive. Nico blushes when she hears this, and she tells Haoran that she considers serving him a great honor. Nico lets Haoran know that she now belongs to him. Just then, the system reminds him that he has a daily quest that he needs to complete. Haoran stylishly asks Nico if there are other beast tribes in the area, and he asks about tribes that have female members. Nico then reveals that the orc group that attacked the village yesterday is staying on the other side of the forest. Nico lets Haoran know that the orcs raid and terrorize other beast clans. After hearing this, Haoran and Nico head to the orc village. Arriving at the orcs village, Haoran is confident that there will be female orcs living in the village. Since they have tormented the other villages for so long, Haoran believes that it is time for payback. Haoran then tells Nico to show what she can do since she just advanced to a new level. However, he tells her to keep the women alive. Nico acknowledges her master's order, revealing that she is so happy that her master is allowing her to take revenge on the orcs that have terrorized them for a long time. She leaps into the air and charges up to unleash a purple energy orb. She is so happy with the level of power running through her veins. Without hesitation, she unleashes her power on the village. As she takes out the orcs with her power, Haoran also gains experience points from it. With this, Haoran smiles as he confirms that whenever his followers kill enemies, he gains the same amount of experience points as if he were the one who killed them. Nico's first wave of attack leaves a crater in front of the village, and she lets the orcs know that she has come to wipe all of them out. The orc warriors laugh at Nico, telling her that she is nothing but a weak succubus. They charge at her with their weapons in hand, but Nico easily grabs their heads and smashes them together. Nico charges up again, ready to show the orcs what she is capable of doing. She brings out a whip from her body and leaps into the air while urging the orcs to do their best at attacking her. The orcs take the bait because they are dumb, but this gets them whooped. As she defeats them, the experience points go to her master. Howran is so pleased with the progress that he is getting since Nico is doing all the work while he just sits back and takes the reward. He advances to level 25, and he is given a new skill, Dark Affinity. Howran checks out what the skill is all about. It grants him increased movement speed by 30% during the night or in dark environments. Attacks that he causes enemies also inflict bleed, which takes 1.5% of HP and lasts for 5 seconds. Howran is pleased with the new skill, and he realizes that the system is slowly turning him into a proper vampire since he will be more efficient fighting in the night. In no time, Nico mops up the orcs, and she stands on a mountain of orc bodies. She is disappointed that the orcs couldn't put up a better fight. One of the female orcs, who is a warrior, emerges and threatens to teach Nico a lesson. The moment Howran sees her, he activates the Crimson Flash and appears right behind her. The orc is shocked as she suddenly sees Howran standing behind her, looking all menacing. Without hesitation, Howran sinks his teeth into the orc's neck and she screams. By doing this, Howran is able to complete his daily task. After the battle, they take a head count and realize that Nico took down 178 orcs. However, she was able to capture 30 female orcs. Howran is pleased with Nico's showing, and he lets her know that her advancement is something good. Nico acts all modest, telling Howran that it was thanks to him. Since Nico's level has increased, Howran believes that she should be able to extend the petrification duration of her love arrows. He tells her to turn the female orcs into stone once they return to the village, and he wants her to store them safely since he's going to need them later. Howran doesn't mind even if they are ugly as long as they serve the purpose that he wants. He knows he won't be worried about his daily task for a whole month. Just then, Nico shows him the orb that she found, telling him that it might be valuable to him. She hands him the orb, and when Howran collects it, he realizes that it is a rare item, the magic breath pill. This increases max MP when consumed, and it conceals demonic aura, which blocks external detection. Howran's face lights up in anticipation, realizing that he would be able to hide his aura completely if he consumed the pill. With this pill, Howran figures out that he can go back to the city without being detected by the awakened hunters. He immediately swallows it, and this is when he remembers that he has a beef to settle with Zijin. The next morning, Howran uses one of the captive orcs to complete his task. He then tells Nico and Hida that he is leaving for the city. Nico is worried, asking Howran if she did something wrong. However, Howran assures her, telling her that she has been amazing and that he is satisfied with everything she has done. He lets her know that he has some personal business that he needs to settle, which is why he is making the trip to J City. He assures Nico that it won't take more than a few days. He lets her know that Haida is under her command, but they shouldn't sit around and do nothing. He wants them to expand their control further and wipe out every beast within a 10-mile radius. He pats Hida on the shoulder while talking to Nico. He tells Nico to follow the usual procedure if she runs into any female beasts. Nico smiles as she is ready to follow everything that Howran just said. After dishing out his instructions, Howran leaves, telling the girls to immediately get to work. Hida wonders why Howran has to go to the city, or who is even waiting for him there. Nico simply tells her that Howran's business will always be beyond what they can comprehend. Meanwhile, in the city, Shur is enjoying herself with Howran's coat. She lies on the coat, massaging it and getting into the mood. She admits that after their encounter in the woods, she has not gone a minute without thinking about him. Shur wakes up the next morning to a weird sound in her room. She turns around to see Howran working out beside her bed. Howran talks nonchalantly when Shur wakes up in shock. He asks her if he woke her, but the girl is stunned since she didn't sense his presence at all. In addition to this, she wants to know how he knew her address. Howran then reminds her that she swore loyalty to him, and this is how he is able to sense her location. Talking like a real king, he asks her if he needs permission to check on his underling. Shur quickly replies that Howran is free to do this. Just with Howran's presence in the room, Shur's affection level shoots up to 63%. Howran then lets her know that there is something he wants her to do for him. Howran tells Shur that he needs her help to gather intel on someone, and this person is none other than Zijin, the Steel Tier Awakened, who works for the Elite Center. Howran says he needs to know his upcoming missions. Shur smiles, telling Howran that she is a squad leader in the Red City group, and that getting this kind of information is pretty easy for her since she has connections. Howran then mentions that there is something else that has piqued his curiosity. Shur tells him to go ahead with whatever he wants to ask, assuring him that she will answer anything she can. He reveals that he saw her sleeping on his coat overnight, and while she was sleeping, she was busy moaning his name. He asks her what she was dreaming about. Shur's face turns red when she hears this, and she starts to stutter. It turns out that Shur was dreaming about being with Howran. She is replaying the memories in her head when her alarm suddenly goes off, reminding her that she needs to go to work. She leaps off the bed and runs off to start preparing, and she assures Howran that she will get the information that he needs after her shift. Howran is surprised by the way she reacts, and he just assumes that Shur had a really great dream. Later that day, Zhur is in the Red City Group underground parking lot, thinking about what happened with Howron when she runs into two dudes. The two emanate a commanding aura around them. The one in red tells Zhur that he would like to ask her something. He wants to know about the magic surge that happened a few days ago. It turns out that his younger brother is Yu Wen. He was surprised when he learned that his brother had been killed during the investigation of the magic surge, and to make it worse, Yu Wen's body was dumped at the headquarters. He wants to know how Zhur made it back alive when someone stronger than her couldn't even make it. The dude on red is Yu Wu, and he is a legendary tier awakened, which makes him pretty dangerous. Zhur is scared, but she asks Yu Wu if he thinks she killed Yu Wen. The other dude with Yu Wu is Wang Meng, and he is a golden tier awakened. Wang Meng tells his boss that they shouldn't waste their breath asking Zhur questions and just beat the crap out of her so that they can get the information they want. Wang Meng wastes no time charging toward Zhur. He activates his skill, turning his fists into fire. But just as he is about to hit Zhur, she puts up an ice wall to block his attack. Zhur is surprised at the sudden hostility from Wang Meng, forcing her to ask if this is how the Elite Center operates. Zhur mentions that Wang Meng cannot act the way he likes just because he has a legendary tier awakened backing him. She reminds the two that they are currently in the Red City Group's headquarters, and everyone in the building will be on her side if she raises the alarm. She assures the two that she will gladly give them a fight if that is what they want. Just then, Yu Wu urges Zhur not to misunderstand his actions. He tells her that Wang Meng is just a hot-headed person like his late brother. Yu Wu reveals that he doesn't want problems, and the only thing he wants is answers. Yu Wu reveals that when he went to the scene of the incident to investigate, there was nothing to be found except a skeleton. Zhur scornfully tells Yu Wu that they didn't see the beast that attacked them, and after saying this, she leaves. Yu Wu smiles like a maniac while thanking Zhur for her cooperation. Zhur is extremely worried that she has gotten herself on Yu Wu's radar. She realizes that things just got worse. Apparently, most Awakeners barely make it past Golden Tier in their entire lives, and reaching Star Diamond Tier is something considered a miracle. However, the Legendary Tier, which is even above Star Diamond, is the best of the best. She knows that Yu Wu might be acting all calm and polite, but deep down, he is utterly dangerous. Zhur figures out that she needs to warn Howron before it is too late. After Zhur is gone, Yu Wu coughs, and Wang Meng asks him if he is okay. Yu Wu assures his subordinate that he is fine, but he is trying to keep his OCD under control. Yu Wu then tells Wang Meng to find the two subordinates who were with Zhur on the day of the incident. He tells Wang Meng to interrogate the two, and if their stories don't match up even slightly, he is ready to kill all three, including Zhur. Shortly afterward, Howron receives a ton of experience points, and he realizes that Hida and Nico have been working hard. Because of this, he has reached level 27. Howron is pretty sure that as long as he increases his follower count, he will never slow down once it comes to leveling up. The system then awards him a new title, Battlefield Commander. This is a title that boosts all followers by 10%. Howron figures out that the new title is way better than the Undead Slayer. Just then, Zhur returns to the house, and she lets Howron know that she has gotten everything he asked for. Zhur reveals that Zijin is leading a squad out of the city by 10 p.m. that night. His squad consists of 8 Steel Tier Awakened. Zhur also has a file with her that contains everything about the mission, the squad members, skills, home addresses, and even their phone numbers. Zhur tells Howron that she did everything, but this is all she could muster up. Howron is surprised to hear Zhur say this because she has basically dug up everything about Zijin and his team. Howron is so pleased with what he has in front of him, and he tells Zhur that she is the absolute best. Hearing this from Howron pushes Zhur's affection level to 69%. Zhur tries to act cool, telling Howron that there is no big deal in what she did, and also praising her will not make her happy. Howron sees through her and knows she is just trying to act tough. Howron notices that she has a box with her, and he asks her about it. Zhur then reveals that the box is a gift for Howron. Inside the box are several high-grade health potions that restore 500 HP. There are also high-grade mana potions that restore 500 MP. In addition to this, there's a bunch of equipment that Zhur has secured for Howron. She provides him with a sword and body armor. Everything is high-grade, and they provide more boosts to his stats. Howron puts the gear on, making him appear like a proper knight. Howron is blown away by the equipment because he knows that it definitely costs a fortune. He is surprised that Zhur is giving him the equipment for free. Zhur then reveals that Howron is being targeted by the Elite Center, and the person spearheading the attack is a legendary tier awakened. Zhur tells Howron that she secured the gear for him just in case things go horribly wrong. Just then, Howron moves closer to Zhur, shocking her. She asks him what he is doing, but Howron answers the question by locking lips with her. Zhur's affection level shoots up to 83% just from this. Zhur cannot believe that her first kiss came from Howron. Howron thanks her, letting her know that he will always remember her kindness. However, he lets her know that there is something that he needs to do, which is why he has to leave. Haran steps outside the apartment and the system informs him that his equipment stats have been applied, but the visual appearance is hidden. Since he has some time on his hands, Haran decides to check on his sister, Xiao Yu. Moments later, Haran arrives at the high school where his sister is studying. However, he conceals his presence since he is not ready to show himself around his sister just yet. He knows how dangerous it is if he is seen around her since she can easily be dragged into his problems. Haran plans to keep getting stronger and stronger so he can finally be able to stand beside his sister when he knows he has the power to protect her. After checking on her, Haran leaves. Since blood is thicker than water, Xiao Yu feels a strange presence at the door, but she doesn't see anything. Before she knows it, tears are already flowing down her cheeks. Elsewhere, Zijin and his team are cutting down monsters. In no time, they complete their mission, and Zijin tells the team to gather all the monsters' gear and any valuables from the corpses. The team members are impressed at how strong Zijin is because he easily tore apart a Tier 3 beast like it was nothing. They praise him, telling him that he will soon reach Silver Tier status with his current progress. Zijin tells his team members to stop flattering him. He urges them to get their things together so that they can go home and sleep. Just then, Haran's voice echoes from behind, talking about how surprised he is that they think they will be leaving the place alive. Zijin and the entire team are shocked to see Haran alive. Zijin cannot believe that Haran actually survived getting eaten by the python. He considers this an impossible feat, but Haran lets him know that nothing is impossible. Haran lets the team know that the only reason he is there is to make sure that they pay for the sins of backstabbing him. One of the team members laughed at Haran, reminding him that he is not an awakened and he is threatening their captain. He also mocks Haran's outfit, asking him if he is cosplaying Dracula. The annoying dude continues by saying Zijin had to sacrifice Haran for the greater good, and he doesn't see anything wrong with what his captain did. He adds that Haran is to be blamed for being weak. The dude tells Haran to stop acting petty since he made it out alive. He goes overboard when he brings out $200, offering it to Haran as compensation for his emotional distress. He suggests that Haran take the money and just call everything even. He has not finished saying this when Haran pulls out his sword and takes his head off his neck before he can realize what is happening. Haran stands there, looking all menacing and serious while telling the dude's headless body that he doesn't want his money. He lets everyone on the team know that the only thing he wants is to send them to the afterlife to join their ancestors. Zijin is shocked when he sees the head of his team member rolling on the floor. He can clearly remember that Haran is an ordinary human, and this leaves him wondering how he was able to kill his team member who is also a steel tier awakened. Zijin has a lot running through his head, and he concludes that his team member let his guard down, which is why he lost his head. Zijin immediately orders the team to attack Haran to avenge their fallen comrade. The rest of the team acknowledges the order and immediately rushes after Haran in an attempt to make him pay for what he did. They tell him that his luck won't be able to save him twice. One of them unleashes his thunder attack on Haran. He declares that he just used his full power on Haran, and this leaves a cloud of purple smoke where Haran is standing. He believes that there should be nothing left of Haran again except his charred body. Suddenly, a blood spike appears right underneath his jaw, impaling him right on the spot. Zijin's eyes light up in disbelief, and he is not alone on this because the rest of them are shocked by what just happened. They hear Haran speaking from inside the smoke, mocking the thunder strike, calling it a weak attack that only tickled him. Haran lets the dead guy know that he is very weak and it is going to take a lot more to turn him into charcoal. Seeing this, Zijin takes up a defensive pose. He realizes that Haran was just hiding his true strength, and he is no ordinary person. Worried out of his mind, he calls for urgent reinforcement. Zijin tries to calm himself with the fact that it is just Haran. He then orders everyone to attack him all at once. They acknowledge the order, and they go after Haran, but Haran just stands there unfazed, asking them why they believe he is alone. He activates Victor's Pact and summons Hida. The two dudes coming after him get slashed like chickens, and Haran is slapped with experience points. Hida emerges from the shadows, looking beautiful yet terrifying, and she berates the attackers for thinking they have a chance against her master. Hida goes after another team member and slashes him with her sharp claws. Haran doesn't sit around for Hida to do all the work. He also charges into the enemies and slices them up with his sword, spilling their blood just like they did to him. In no time, Hida and Haran clear out everyone on the team, leaving the main person, Zijin. Hida wants to take him out, but Haran stops her, telling her to calm down. Haran tells Hida that Zijin is his to deal with. Realizing that he is all alone with Haran, Zijin reveals his surprise that Haran is able to take things beyond his imagination. However, he lets Haran know that he already figured out his secret. Since he started the fight, Zijin says Haran has been trying to hide his mana, but it keeps leaking out with every attack. In addition to this, Hida is calling him master. With this, Zijin figures out that Haoran is no longer human. Zijin screams at Haoran, asking him if he gave up his humanity just so he could kill him. Haoran admits this, telling Zijin that he had no other choice and that this was all thanks to him. Zijin then tells Haoran that he is making a mistake because he is not operating on the rank he thinks he is. Zijin says he has been preparing himself for days like this since their last encounter with the python. Zijin whips out a syringe containing a suspicious substance and injects it into his body via his neck. Zijin reveals that the substance is an experimental drug that he purchased on the black market, and it is a substance that is capable of unlocking his full potential. In addition to this, it allows him to break past his limitations, which means he is currently a silver-ranked awakened. Zijin boldly tells Haoran that he is too early for his revenge mission. Haoran realizes that Zijin has actually changed into an orange template, but even with this, he doesn't think Zijin can do much. Haoran lets him know that they are currently in the nighttime, which means he stands no chance. Zijin laughs when he hears this, telling Haoran that he is pretty strong the way he is. Zijin believes a higher-ranked silver-tier warrior would even struggle to keep up with him. He dashes toward Haoran, telling him that he can't escape his death. Just then, Haoran vanishes from his sight. Zijin is left in shock to see Haoran moving at a great speed all around him. He cannot believe that even with the drug running in his system, he can't keep up with Haoran's movements. Haoran inflicts a cut on Zijin's back while he is still trying to look for him. Haoran's skill activates, and Zijin enters the bleeding state, which will last for 5 seconds. Haoran doesn't stop there as he continues to deal more damage to Zijin's body. Haoran slashes him all over his body, leaving Hida to wonder why Haoran is constantly violating the dude without eliminating him. Hida can clearly see that Haoran has the chance to finish Zijin off, but he doesn't take it, and he is even avoiding the vital places on his body. Hida comes to the easy conclusion that Haoran is enjoying what he is doing to Zijin. Zijin screams, telling Haoran to show himself because he is not losing to a piece of trash like him. Zijin is bleeding all over, but he still thinks he has a chance. Suddenly, Haoran appears behind him and pushes his sword into him, piercing his chest from the back. Haoran whispers in his ear, telling him that he has plans for him. Zijin crashes to the ground and Haoran's skill still depletes his health. Blood flows out of his eyes as he begs Haoran to kill him since he is in so much pain. Haoran mocks Zijin, reminding him that he was talking about mopping the floor with him some moments ago, and he is already begging for mercy. Haoran whips out a health potion, telling Zijin that he has no intentions of killing him that easily. He tells him that he is going to heal him, and Haoran follows his word. He feeds Zijin the health potion, restoring 500 health points for him. Just when Zijin is feeling better, Haoran stabs him again. Haoran lets Zijin know that he has a load of health potions for him. He plans to stab him every 5 seconds so he can experience a level of endless pain and despair. With the little strength that he has, Zijin tells Haoran that he is very cruel. Haoran then reveals his final phase of the plan just to show how cruel he can be, since this is what Zijin is insinuating. He tells him that he is going to throw him to the Titan Python and let him enjoy Zijin as its meal. This is when Hida finally figures out that Haoran enjoys having fun with his enemies. She remembers when Haoran tormented her in the arena, and because of this, she concludes that Haoran is nothing short of a full-fledged sadist. Meanwhile, Yu Wu has gotten reports that there is a strange mana surge that resembles the one they have been tracking. They tell him that the location is close to Zijin's squad's mission site. Yu Wu immediately lets out a terrible aura, ready to hunt down whoever it is who killed his brother. After Haoran is done with Zijin, he drags him to where the python is, and holds his head high so he can see what is about to befall him. Zijin realizes how screwed he is, and he starts begging Haoran not to go ahead with what he is about to do. Zijin reveals his fear, saying he doesn't want to be a meal for the python. Haoran ignores his pleas and cuts his throat without care. He then throws him to the python, and the serpent catches Zijin's body mid-air, swallowing him up. After the snake is done eating Zijin, it turns around to leave. Haoran is shocked to see that the snake is already leaving. He later realizes that the snake doesn't see him as a threat, because he has been classified as a beast. After killing Zijin, Haoran reaches level 30, and he unlocks another skill. The system shows him the soul resonance skill, telling him that when a follower's affection reaches 100%, their soul will resonate with Haoran's, which will generate exclusive power equipment. Haoran then realizes that the skill only activates at max affection, but he has already experienced Nico's soul resonance, even though he only used the blood blade for 10 minutes. The weapon stat is also very powerful. This is when it dawns on Haoran that he can generate exclusive equipment from all of his followers, which basically means his potential is limitless. Hida's affection is currently at 50%, while that of Zhure's affection is at 83%. Haoran decides that he will have to focus on Zhure and Hida in the meantime. Suddenly, the system hits him with a warning, telling him that an extremely high-threat target is heading towards him. The system advises him to disappear from the location immediately. Haoran doesn't joke with the warning as he screams at Hida to cancel her summon. Meanwhile, Yu Wu is traveling at a great speed, heading for the location. He arrives with a bang, leaving an explosion with his landing. However, he finds no one or no beast in the area, leaving him confused. He knows that he senses a faint presence in the area, but it suddenly disappears. The blood trail he was tracking also ended right where he was standing. Yu Wu starts wondering where the beasts could have gone, since they obviously can't vanish into thin air. Suddenly, the python emerges from the woods, and it aims for Yu Wu. Yu Wu flies into the air and plans to ignore the weak Tier 5 beast, but suddenly he looks back and realizes that the python's face is weird. He notices the python's right side has an extra horn on its face. Because Yu Wu hates anything that has an asymmetric face, he decides that the python has to die. On the other hand, Haoran was able to escape the situation by entering the arena. He figures out that the system warned him because it is the dude Shure mentioned who wanted revenge on him. Haoran realizes that the magic breath pill can actually conceal his presence. But once he enters combat, his mana occasionally leaks out. Haoran decides that he will have to keep a low profile until he has reached peak strength. The system tells Haoran that all of his equipment will be disabled and he should select his weapon for the upcoming battle. Haoran figures out that he can't leave the arena until the match is over. Even though the gear he was putting on got disabled, he believes that he should still be able to fight since he is now a level 30 vampire. He looks at the weapons presented to him and realizes that the stats are better than the last time he entered the arena. He figures that this is because he is stronger than he was when he first entered. However, he still gets to choose from a variety of weapons in the booth. He remembers finding a cucumber the last time, and the cucumber came with a special perk. He believes that he can also get a weapon like that again this time. Just then, he finds a loving heart punishment mini whip, and without thinking twice, he picks it. The whip has no stat bonus, but hitting the target with the whip puts both the user and the target in an excited state, increasing each other's attack power by 1%. Haoran is surprised to see that the whip has a high-risk, high-reward system, which boosts his and the enemy's attack power. However, he believes that he should be able to dodge his enemy's attack, which means he gets to reap all the rewards with no risk attached. After picking the whip, the system shows him the buffs that he can select from. There is the adventure mode. This is a buff that makes him lose 50% of his HP instantly, but if he manages to win, his rewards increase by 20%. The next buff is the good partner. He can randomly summon one follower to join him in battle. And the last buff is Turtle Shell. With this, the damage taken is reduced by 90%, and the damage inflicted is also reduced by 90%. Haoran looks through the buffs, and he figures out that the adventure mode has too much risk for little gain. The Turtle's Shell buff is too passive, and without knowing who his opponent is, it is completely useless. Haoran realizes that he has 3 strong followers, and no matter which one he pulls, his chances of winning are quite high. Because of this, Haoran selects the good partner buff. The system randomly selects one of his followers. Shure is in the bathroom, thinking of why Haoran hasn't come back yet, and at the same time, worried that Haoran might have gotten caught by Yu Wu. Shure manages to trash this thought because she has seen how strong Haoran is. Suddenly, a light appears in the bathroom, and Shure is dragged into the arena. Because she is on her bare body, the system gives her clothing. However, before the clothing can appear on her body, Haoran has seen everything, and he is stunned. The system finally places some clothing on Shure, and the system picks a pair of shorts and a sleeveless top for her. Shure is confused when she enters the arena, asking Haoran why he brought her to the place. Haoran tries calming Shure down, telling her that he didn't see anything. Haoran claims that he is just trying to get another read on her skills. Shure is surprised to hear this because Haoran is saying something else when he is holding a pleasure whip in his hand. The commentator then announces their arrival into the arena, telling everyone that Haoran and his followers will be the ones challenging the floor that day. Their opponent is the Flame Witch, Balo, who is a master of the fire arts. Balo steps out, looking all scary with flames burning everywhere on her body. She is surprised that there are 2 opponents who are ready to take her on, but she is in no way scared. She tells them not to think she is going to surrender like Hida did. Balo threatens to burn everything in the arena to ashes. To show off, she unleashes fireballs that become so big, leaving a charred crater in their wake. Even Haoran is shocked by the effect of the fireball. Haoran admits that the power and range of the attack are not something he can comprehend. He realizes that using the whip on Balo will be a big mistake since he will only be boosting her attack power further. Since damage in the arena is transferred to real life, Haoran figures that it is going to be a big problem for him or Shure if they get seriously injured. Suddenly, it dawned on him that the description of the whip specified target and self and didn't say enemy. While he is thinking about this, Balo is busy flaunting her powers, showing how powerful she is. She tells Haoran that she doesn't care how many there are. She assures them that she is just going to wipe them out. Just then, she unleashes another wave of fireballs at the 2, but Shure puts up an ice wall to block the fire. Shure talks about how much she hates those who have fire attributes. She assures Balo that she is going to put out her flames with ease, letting her know that she is not on top of the world just because she has fire attributes. Just then, Balo also replies, saying she dislikes those with ice-type attributes. Balo claims that she is not even trying her best yet. She tells the two that she is about to get pretty serious with them. Shur looks absolutely unfazed as she tells Balo to give it her all. Shur bends to stretch, and suddenly Howran hits her with the whip. This triggers the whip's effect, putting Shur in an excited state. Her attack power also increases by 1%. She asks Howran why he hit her, and Howran urges her to bear with the pain because there has been a change of plans. Howran continues hitting her repeatedly as he gets the perfect angle to land his hits. Even the commentator is shocked as to what is happening as she starts to wonder why Howran is hitting his own teammate. The screams from Shur can be heard all around the arena, giving everyone the impression that they are fighting. Balo's face turns red, wondering what the two have going on. She reminds them that they are in the arena as she cannot wrap her head around what they are doing. Because of Howran's actions, Shur's affection level keeps increasing. It soon climbs to 90. She cannot believe that a mid-level executive at Red City Group like her is getting whipped in public with a little riding crop. Shur admits that the whip hurts, and it is humiliating, but at the same time, she doesn't want it to stop. In fact, she is getting more and more excited as Howran does it. In no time, her affection level rises to 92%. Shur can feel the intense power running through her body, and it feels like she is about to burst open. In no time, she has received an additional 69% attack power to her original attack power. Howran doesn't stop there as he activates the Battlefield Commander title, boosting Shur's stats by 10%. At the same time, Howran is getting powered. The Knight Affinity skill also kicks into effect, increasing Howran's movement speed, attacks, and a bleeding effect. Just then, Balo breaks through Shur's ice wall, mocking her for having such a weak wall. Balo is mad about the fact that the two were performing some ridiculous stunt while they were fighting her. Balo threatens to wipe them out because of this. She takes a deep breath, and the commentator already figures out that Balo is about to use her ultimate move. Balo unleashes the lava breath, releasing a massive wave of fire from her mouth. As the fire descends upon the two, Shur urges Howran not to interfere, since she wants to handle Balo on her own. Shur then replies to the attack with her own powerful ice blast. This cuts through Balo's fire attack and consumes it. The ice attack from Shur is so powerful that it easily reaches Balo, and it freezes her up completely. Even the commentator is shocked to see this, and she finally realizes that Shur's strength is not to be underestimated. Shur's single attack is able to take down Balo, making them the winners of the match. The commentator reveals that Howran is now qualified to enter the next floor. The rewards he got from the fight include fire resistance, which improves his resistance to fire damage and reduces damage taken. He also gets a skill point, which he can use to level up existing skills to enhance their effects. The system then asks Howran if he is willing to proceed to the third floor. He is informed that new weapons and buffs will be provided for him. Howran thinks the offer through and realizes that with his current attack boost, he can easily clear the third floor, but he is obviously worked up. The mini-whip's side effects are already getting to his head, and he is no longer thinking straight. Howran turns to Shur, telling her that she did really well and that he is proud of her. He then asks her about her mental state. Shur admits that she feels super weird, and she has never felt this weird before in her entire life. However, her backside still hurts from the excessive hitting, but she feels very good. Howran can clearly see that Shur is not in the right state of mind, and if he decides to advance to the next floor, he might just end up the same way as Shur. Howran decides to send Shur home via the arena portal. Howran is glad that the arena works out pretty well, just in case he is being chased down by an enemy. The portal opens right at Shur's apartment, and she reveals that her body is sore. She begs Howran to help massage her body, and he agrees to do this since it is his fault that she is feeling that way. Just then, the system takes back the outfit it gave to Shur, leaving her totally bare. Shur is shocked as the clothing disappears from her body, and she is forced to run off to change her clothes. After she is done putting on a pair of new clothes, she lies on the couch, telling Howran that she is now ready to receive the massage. Howran cannot believe that Shur changed into black stockings just for a massage. Howran places his hands on her lap, and he can feel the nice texture of her body. The black stockings also make things more catchy, but Howran soon realizes that his thoughts are getting pretty wild. It then dawns on him that the stimulating effect from the mini-whip isn't wearing off. In fact, the effect is getting stronger with every physical touch he has with Shur. Shur is also enjoying the massage as she admits that Howran's techniques are amazing. The pain she was feeling had all disappeared after his hands touched her. Shur can feel the excitement running through her body, and with this, her affection level increases to 94%. Shur cannot believe that Howran is the first boy to kiss her, but he is also the first boy to touch every inch of her body. Shur is already thinking of tying the knot with Howran since he has done all of these things with her. Just then, her affection level shoots up to 96%. Suddenly, Haoran starts taking off his clothes, reminding her that she wanted them to get down together. Since they are in the perfect situation for that, he suggests that they get it done. Shure tries to argue this, saying she only wants a massage, not going too far with Haoran. Shure claims she is not mentally ready yet, but Haoran reminds her that she has been taunting him the entire time, especially after she got whipped by the loving heart punishment mini-whip. Haoran lies down on her, pressing his entire body against hers, and he tells her to call him daddy. Haoran does his thing, and Shure's affection level increases to 98%. After Haoran is done with Shure, her affection level reaches the max, and with this, he unlocks a special reward, the Pinnacle Blood, which is one-time use only. Shure wakes him up, telling him that there is an endless surge of energy in her. She admits that it is amazing, and she feels very good. Shure cannot believe that her master just opened the door to a whole new world for her. The system informs Haoran that his follower, Shure, has obtained his blood essence and the blessing that comes with it. She has received a significant attribute boost, and she has also evolved. Because of this, she has received a promotion to the Star Diamond level. Shure looks absolutely wet while trying to express how she is feeling. Haoran smiles in excitement while admitting that the mechanism is pretty insane. He is surprised that a gold tier awakened like Shure was instantly promoted by an entire rank. He wonders if this will also happen to someone who is on a higher level. Haoran then reminds Shure of the blood blade that he pulled out of Nico's chest. He tells her that she is also qualified to generate an exclusive weapon like that for him. Shure is excited to hear this as she tells Haoran that she is ready for them to try it out. Haoran then activates the Soul Resonance skill. A purple light appears on her chest, just like Nico's. As the weapon emerges, Shure wonders what type of weapon it is that she is going to provide for her beloved master. Just then, a black crown emerges from her chest, and she declares it as impressive as that of Nico's blood blade. In addition to this, she believes that the crown suits Haoran's aura. It turns out that the crown is called the Crown of the Night. It gives a 100+ intelligence points and a magic critical hit rate of 10%. It also increases magic attack power by 20% at night or in darkness. Haoran admits that an exclusive piece like the crown is on another level. He smiles, realizing that with the crown on his head he is going to appear like a proper vampire. However, he is worried that the crown will be visible, which defeats the idea. Just then, the system applies the hidden appearance mode to the crown on his head. The system lets him know that the equipment attributes will remain active, but the crown will not be visible. Later on, Haoran thanks Shure for her help, saying he is able to do everything he had to do because of her. However, he can't stay for too long because of who he is. Shure is shocked when she realizes that Haoran is leaving. Before leaving, Haoran asks Shure to lend him some money since she appears to be rich to some extent. Shure is shocked that Haoran wants to borrow money for her and jokingly reminds her that it is their first time getting down together and he is already asking for money. She teases him, telling him that it is awkward, but at the same time she assures Haoran that whatever belongs to her also belongs to him. She lets Haoran know that he is free to take as much as he wants. After getting the money from Shure, Haoran heads to Xiaoyu's school to drop the money on her desk. Xiaoyu opens the backpack on her desk to find it full of cash, leaving her stunned. After dropping the money, Haoran also completes his daily quest by quickly feeding on a female student who thinks she got bitten by a mosquito. Haoran is not happy with the fact that he can see Xiaoyu, but he can't greet her so he won't put her in danger. He hopes that Xiaoyu uses the money he gave her well because he had to crush his ego to borrow the money from Shure. Haoran just wants his sister to be happy, even if she doesn't get into a good university. When Shure returns to work, she can't get Haoran's presence out of her head. She starts moaning in her office, leaving her in an embarrassing mood. She is snapped back to real life when her team member enters the room. Shure is caught off guard, and she starts stuttering, trying to justify what they just walked in on. However, the team member lets her know that she is not concerned with what is happening. She lets him know that their colleagues were kidnapped by people from the Elite Center the night before. She believes that this might be related to Yuwen's death. At the Elite Center suburban factory, the two dudes from Shure's group are getting tortured by Wang Meng. The two tell Wang Meng that they have nothing to do with Yuwen's death. They even claim that by the time they arrived at the site, there was nothing but a skeleton waiting for them. The two refuse to give in as they continue to corroborate each other's story. The dudes believe that they are getting picked on because the Elite Center can't find the killer, and since they are the weak ones, it is easy for them to get trampled upon. They tell Wang Meng that he is basically bullying them, but this only gets Wang Meng mad, telling the two that they must have a death wish for running their mouths. Suddenly, the door to the factory bursts open. Wang Meng is shocked, wondering who just entered. Lo and behold, it is none other than Shure, who has been looking for her teammates who got captured. She enters with a cold chill surrounding the air, and she urges Wang Meng to hand over her teammates. The two are happy to see their leader, and they reveal how confident they were to have waited for her. Wang Meng is pissed with Shure's entrance into the building, telling her that there are several silver-ranked awakened guarding the warehouse. Wang Meng asks her how she is able to enter the warehouse when she is just a low-level gold rank. Shure makes fun of Wang Meng, telling him that she has already taken care of his so-called underlings who are guarding the warehouse. She has turned all of them into ice sculptures. Shure assures Wang Meng that he is next on the list. Shure prepares her ice powers, telling Wang Meng that she is going to try out her newest technique on him. Shure unleashes a bunch of ice wheels toward Wang Meng, but Wang Meng is very confident in his skills. He is so sure that Shure's ice wheels cannot stand against his flame fists. He tells Shure that she was lucky Yuwu held him back the last time they fought. However, he is ready to mop the floor with Shure this time around. Shure then tells Wang Meng he is actually the unlucky one not to have Yuwu in the area to back him up. Shure then unleashes a 16-fold ice wheel to attack Wang Meng. Wang Meng watches in horror as the ice wheels move toward him at great speed. As the ice wheels approach him, Wang Meng unleashes his flames, telling Shure that he is one of the strongest gold-ranked warriors out there. He boasts about this, letting Shure know that she stands no chance against him. Shure then screams at Wang Meng, telling him that she is no longer the same person she was the last time they fought. Wang Meng breaks the ice wheels, rushing toward Shure, and tells her that she still looks the same to him. Suddenly, an ice arrow pierces the side of his head. Wang Meng is surprised to see that Shure can control even the tiniest ice shards with ultimate precision. More shards pierce his body, and Shure activates the shards, causing ice flowers to grow out of his body. Wang Meng finally realizes that he was tricked into attacking the ice wheel, which is a trap. Wang Meng lowered his guard and he got hit with the ice shards before realizing. He admits that he underestimated Shure since this was her plan all along. Shure commends Wang Meng for being able to figure out her plan, but she lets him know that it is already too late. She tells Wang Meng that the ice shards that she controls have already entered his body through his wounds. She assures Wang Meng that she can easily freeze him solid with just a snap. She urges him to give up because he has already lost. She lets him know that she might actually consider sparing him if he behaves himself. Shure's teammates are watching this, and they all hail their leader for being incredible. Wang Meng's ego gets in his head, and he remembers that he was chosen to be Yuwu's partner because he is one of the strongest gold-ranked fighters. He doesn't want to accept the fact that he was humiliated by a gold-ranked woman. He considers this a total disgrace, and because of this, he is not ready to accept that he lost. He unleashes a fiery aura, telling Shure that she can't scare him. He declares that he will easily melt every ice inside him. By unleashing his fiery aura, he is able to burn away the ice flowers growing out of his body. He then comes after Shure with a big fiery punch, but Shure just heaves a sigh of disappointment, calling Wang Meng a fool. Shure snaps her fingers, and the ice shards present inside Wang Meng's heart take effect. Wang Meng's body is shattered as a big ice shard emerges from it. Wang Meng's body is shattered as he crashes to the ground, losing his life in the most horrible way. Even with Wang Meng on the floor and dead, Shure still stands there to aura farm, declaring that his fire cannot melt her ice. A cold aura emanates from her body as she reveals that she is no longer a gold-ranked warrior because she has broken through to the next level and is now a diamond-ranked warrior. After Wang Meng's defeat, Shure asks his teammates if they are good. They assure her that they are fine and they only suffered some minor bruises. They tell her that they didn't give out any sensitive information either. Suddenly, Shure feels a scary bloodlust in the area. Just as she suspected, it turns out to be Yuwu. He is standing by the entrance of the factory, looking all menacing. He tells Shure that he is impressed that she has broken through from gold rank to star diamond in just 2 days. Yuwu then reveals that there are 2 types of people that he can't stand. The first set of people is those who look asymmetric, and the second set is those who dare to lie to him. Unfortunately, Shure happens to fall in both categories. Meanwhile, at the succubus village, Haoran has just returned. He activated the resonance with Nico and retrieved the blood blade because he had been dying to use it. The last time he used it, he only got a brief taste of the weapon, and he was not able to properly check the weapon's attributes. The blood blade also functions optimally at night or in dark environments. The blade is also overpowered as it can restore 5 health points per kill. Haran wonders if the exclusive weapons are basically built to give nighttime bonuses. In addition to this, it's scaled with his level, giving him 30 points to all his stats per level. Basically, the stronger he gets, the more broken the sword is too. Behind him, Nico is blushing, because the moment Haoran came back, he performed the resonance with her. And by looking at Haoran holding the blade, she gets the same feeling of him holding her. She is very happy with this, and suddenly, Haoran receives a bunch of high experience points. Haoran easily figures out that this is Shure's handiwork. With the points that Haoran just received, he has leveled up 3 times in a row. He figures out that Shure's opponent is quite powerful. Suddenly it dawns on him that Shure might be fighting someone pretty strong from the elite center. Without thinking twice, he concludes that Jor is in danger. He immediately grabs onto Nico so she can fly him to wherever Jor is. Haran is hoping to get there before anything bad happens, and he asks Nico if she can fly any faster. Nico replies that she is already at max speed, and with the way Haran is holding onto her, it is difficult for her to concentrate. Back at the warehouse, Yu-Wu reaches Jor faster than she could even blink or react. By the time she senses him, it is already too late. Yu-Wu angrily punches her, launching her out of the building alongside her teammates. Jor cannot believe that all it took for Yu-Wu to shatter her defense was just a hit. She comes to the quick realization that Yu-Wu is powerful and insane at the same time. She looks around to see that her other two teammates are already out of commission. Jor figures out that the only way she is going to stand a chance is if she goes all out against Yu-Wu. She immediately digs into her power and unleashes a massive ice storm to unleash a bunch of ice wheels that number up to 1,000. Yu-Wu is impressed that Jor has the strength in her to control a lot of ice wheels, but he knows that she has reached her limit already. Yu-Wu tells Jor that he doesn't care whether she is a gold rank or diamond rank warrior. However, Jor argues this, saying they will never know unless she tries. She unleashes all of her ice wheels to go after Yu-Wu. However, Yu-Wu remains in one position, and he destroys all of her ice wheels without even trying. This leaves Jor in disbelief as she doesn't expect Yu-Wu to easily blow away over 1,000 ice wheels without even trying. She finally understands the true power that a legendary tier awakened holds in them. Suddenly, she realizes that she can't move. Jor is shocked as to what is happening until it dawns on her that she is being crippled by Yu-Wu's aura. His aura is so strong that it is easily messing with her mental state and body. Unable to move, she sees Yu-Wu rushing over to finish her off. Jor realizes that she is done for. She starts regretting the fact that she won't get to see her master again when they literally just started having fun together. Just as she is about to be crushed to death, she gets an overwhelming feeling that is totally different from that of Yu-Wu's. She quickly figures out that she is sensing her master's aura. Jor looks up to see her master blocking Yu-Wu's punch with one hand while telling him to back away because Jor is his woman. Haoran assures Yu-Wu that he is going to rip him apart if he tries to lay a finger on his woman. Apparently, Haoran has the peak blood skill activated before engaging Yu-Wu. Since this is a skill that grants him everything that the demon blood god has to offer, he can stand against Yu-Wu, but he has just 10 minutes to wrap everything up. Yu-Wu concludes that Jor has been lying around with the enemy, which is why she is protecting him. Yu-Wu is enraged, but at the same time pleased that Haoran has finally decided to show himself to save his woman. Since Haoran is the beast who killed his brother, Yu-Wu believes that he is finally getting the chance to avenge him. Haoran is surprised when he hears Yu-Wu say he wants to get vengeance for his brother. He tells him that it won't be necessary, and he easily tears his right arm off like it's a piece of paper. Yu-Wu screams in agony as he stares at his severed arm. Haoran then turns to Jor, apologizing for showing up late. Jor is totally wet as she stares at Haoran, but she lets him know that she was never worried. She knew that Haoran would come for her. Haoran then tells Nico to tend to Jor because he doesn't have much time on his hands, and he needs to get rid of Yu-Wu on time. Nico acknowledges her master's orders and she collects a health potion from him. Even though Yu-Wu is missing an arm, he believes that he still has the advantage. He claims that Haoran was able to tear off his arm because he caught him off guard. Yu-Wu mentions that he reached legendary tier at the age of 13, making him a once-in-a-generation talent. Yu-Wu tells Haoran that he will never understand what true power is, but he is ready to show him. Yu-Wu angrily unleashes a massive aura, and with it he changes into his true form. Wings emerge from his back, and he has a scary scythe in his hand. Because of how powerful his ultimate form is, he is able to regrow his severed arm. Yu-Wu stands like a proper villain with his left hand in his pocket, while revealing that his ultimate form is called the six-winged slaughter angel form. Yu-Wu then reveals that the scythe he is holding messes with his sacred sense of symmetry, which is why he has always hated it when he transforms. However, he has lost an arm, and he doesn't really care about that anymore. Because Haoran messed with his aesthetics, he plans to teach him a really good lesson. Yu-Wu activates his god mode, the soul reversal cauldron. Jor can feel the intense killing intent coming from the dude's body, and she realizes that Yu-Wu wasn't even going all out when he was fighting her. Jor is even more impressed with the fact that Haoran is willing to risk his life just to protect her. Just then, Haoran receives a purple gold mission. The system tells Haoran that Yu-Wu has an overwhelming intent to kill him. Because of this, the system gives him a mission to kill Yu-Wu within 5 minutes to neutralize the risk. He is guaranteed a special reward if he manages to complete the mission in 5 minutes. Haoran is surprised that the system is also ready to kill Yu-Wu. Even without the reward, Haoran knows he will gladly eliminate Yu-Wu. Yu-Wu then unleashes a bunch of slashes toward Haoran. Haoran remains unfazed as the slashes move toward him. Haoran is totally disappointed in the slashes, telling Yu-Wu that there is nothing divine about the slashes. Haoran easily deflects his slashes, and he tells him to watch while he shows him what a proper slash looks like. Haoran whips out his blood blade and he swings it so hard to unleash the power of the blade. Just as the slash moves toward Yuwu, he jumps out of the way, boasting that Haoran's slash is quite deadly, but he is too fast to be cut. Suddenly, he feels his left arm falling away from his body. He screams in agony and disbelief because he was so sure that he dodged the slash. Haoran then tells him that he is too dumb to figure out that he was cut by the sword's aura. Since Yuwu is always shouting about symmetry, Haoran lets him know that he just helped him out by making sure his arms are now equal to each other. Yuwu senses the danger, and he leaps into the air to fly away. But Haoran is not about to let that happen. Since there is a time limit to the quest, he plans to finish it early. Haoran activates his flying skill, the Devil's Taste, and with this, he grows wings. He goes after Yuwu, telling him that he is not getting out of there alive. On his clock, the emergency mission time remains 4 minutes. As Haoran flies toward him, Yuwu believes that he has him in his grasp already since he considers himself the king of the air. He believes that his flight speed is unbeatable, and with the Angel of Slaughter's power running through his body, he easily regenerates his severed arm. Yuwu remains confident that he is going to mop the floor with Haoran. His confidence tanks when he suddenly spots Haoran behind him, asking him why he is wearing a smug expression. This is when it dawns on Yuwu that Haoran is faster than him. Before he can react to what is happening, he gets punched right in the face. Haoran calls it his special move, the Bug Swatter. Yuwu crashes into the ground, leaving a loud bang and a crater in his wake. He loses all of his strength, and he decides to pull the daddy's card. He tells Haoran that his father is the CEO of the Elite Center, and if Haoran kills him, it will just make the entire city come after him. Haoran is unimpressed with Yuwu's last resort since this is the same thing that his brother did. Haoran then lets Yuwu know that they are not in a schoolyard brawl where he can easily cry to his mother that he got punched. Haoran then tells Yuwu that he has to kill him so he can finally have peace. Enraged, Haoran hits Yuwu with a powerful blast from the sword, and the power sinks into every pore of Yuwu's body. This finishes him off, and Haoran gets slapped with notifications, telling him that he has received a bunch of attribute points. Haoran's last attack is so powerful that it leaves a deep hole where Yuwu was lying. Shura is shocked to see that Haoran easily wiped out Yuwu, and he wasn't even trying. She is more impressed by this since Yuwu is supposed to be a legendary tier awakened. Nico is not that surprised by what just happened, and she tells Shura that it is just a regular business for her master. Haoran reaches level 36 and he also unlocks a new skill, Torrent. This skill fires a devastating stream of blood energy forward, dealing explosive damage. The skill changes form based on the weapon used. Because he completed the mission in the specified time, Haoran is given a special reward, Mini Blood Moon, which is a consumable. However, it has a one-time use condition to it. The name of the skill sounds weird to Haoran. The Mini Blood Moon skill creates a 1-hour blood moon. While active, all blood tribe stats are doubled. When Haoran finally sees what the skill can do, he realizes that it is actually broken. Haoran finally descends back to the ground once he makes sure that everything is done and dusted. He asks the girls if they are fine, and they say yes. Shuer says they are fine because of Haoran's intervention. Nico also agrees with her, saying they are both good. She leaps into Haoran's arms, saying they have nothing to fear as long as they have him around. Haoran is glad that the two are fine. Haoran then turns to Shur, asking her if she would like to come with them since going back to J-City will only put a target on her back. Nico agrees with Haoran, telling Shur to come with them to the succubus village. Shur agrees that the offer is tempting, but she lets Haoran know that she can't come with him at the moment. Shur reveals that Yuwu's death is going to cause a massive stir in the city, and the higher-ups will definitely take action against Haoran. Shur is worried that if she leaves the city with him, Haoran will be perceived as a threat. Shura is staying back so as not to drag Haoran into any more trouble just because of her selfish desires. Haoran is impressed with the fact that Shura is still putting him first, even though everything is messed up. Haoran then urges Shura to stay safe, and he tells her to call for him if she is ever in danger. He assures her that he will always come to find her no matter where she is. Meanwhile, at a private rehabilitation center located in B-City, Utian Xiong, who is father to Yuwon and Yuwu, is seen receiving treatment for an unknown illness. Tianxiong is a legendary tier awakened, and he is the president of Elite Center. Even though he is not fully recovered, he is not ready to stay at the rehabilitation center any longer. He plans to return to Elite Center's headquarters in J-City. When he returned to J-City, the news of Yu Wu's death had spread like wildfire, and Tianxiong was devastated by this. Since he can't let his son's death go unpunished, he calls a special emergency meeting, summoning the most powerful awakened groups in J-City. Present at the meeting is Zhao Yifei, who is a supreme tier awakened. She is a member of the Awakened Association, and she tells the rest of the group why they have all been summoned. She lets them know that some awakened who work for the elite center were killed, and this includes the sons of the president himself. She reveals that they have one prime suspect, and this is the mysterious beast that appeared during the recent mana anomaly. Since the awakened warriors present in the room are the ones running the city, Zhao Yifei asks them the way forward concerning the issue. Tianxiong is the first to speak, and he suggests that they turn the city upside down to find the culprit who killed his sons. Just then, Bai Lilian of the Senlin group, who is also a legendary tier awakened, argues with the methods Tianxiong is proposing. He asks him if he is planning to drag his men into the mud just to avenge his son. Since high-ranking awakened are precious resources, Bai Lilian doesn't think it is unwise for them to risk their lives. He asks Tianxiong if he will be responsible if he loses men during the chase to catch who killed his son. Bai Lilian's stand is different as he is not ready to lose his forces because of a personal vendetta. On the other hand, Liu Zhengyi of the Justice Guild counters Bai Lilian's argument, telling him that with great power comes great responsibility. Liu Zhengyi then pledges to hunt down the beast by using his guild's resources. Just then, Li Hongping of the Red City group cuts in, telling Liu that his passion for fighting will not help against the monster that they are trying to take down. Li Hongping reveals that she has been to the battlefield where Yu Wu fought his adversary, and there was no trace of beast blood in the area. Li Hongping says anyone aside from Zhao Yifei, who is capable of killing Yu Wu without a scratch, is probably an 8th or 9th tier beast. Li Hongping then adds that only members from elite centers have been killed so far. She assumes that the beast is probably targeting the elite center alone. Tianxiong gets mad when he hears this. He shouts in rage, telling Li Hongping that one of her soldiers, Shu'er, was present at both crime scenes where his sons died. Tianxiong says Red City Group is very dangerous, and they are probably teaming up with the beast. Just then, Zhao Yifei calms them down, telling them that she has heard their opinions already. Since they don't have enough intel on the situation yet, she mentions that it would be risky for them to rush in blindly. Zhao Yifei then mentions her plan to report to the headquarters, so that 2 more Supreme Tier Awakened will be dispatched to J-City. She tells everyone in the room not to make a move until she gets a response. Tianxiong is not pleased with his arrangement since Supreme Tier Awakened are rare, and even if they are found, they are always busy. He mentions that it might take at least a month before the headquarters can send them to J-City. Tianxiong says he is not ready to wait that long. He tells Zhao Yifei that they have a chance to bring the beast down if they rally every awakened person in the city. He suggests that they take this action. But just as he is done talking, Zhao Yifei unleashes her dark, scary aura, telling Tianxiong that he needs rest because he is seriously ill. At the succubus village, Haran figures out that he doesn't have much time on his hands. He knows that he has to get much stronger before his enemies find him. He plans to max out all of his followers and unlock exclusive rewards and weapons. Since Hida's reaction is way more sensitive than Balo's, Haran decides to start with her. He activates Victor's Pact and summons Hida. Hida emerges from the depths, telling Haran that she is at his service. Just then, Hida notices that they are not on a battlefield. In fact, they are in the woods. She wonders what Haran is planning to do and why he summoned her to the middle of nowhere. Haran then mentions that the night is long and he can't sleep. Because of this, he thinks of taking a walk, and he wants Hida to join him. Hida is shocked to hear this. Her face lights up in excitement as she asks Haran if he is trying to lie down with her. Haran holds her hands, telling her to follow him. Hida replies that she is ready to follow Haran wherever he goes. Just by holding hands, her affection level increases to 55%. Hida can feel the warmth coming from Haran's hands, and she senses the heat flowing into her. Hida is very shy because this will be the first time she will hold hands with a man. Her affection continues to grow as they walk even further. Haran is glad that all he has done is just hold her hands, and the affection level has increased. He decides to take things a bit further. Haran then takes Hida through a path where reeds grow. Just as she passes through the reeds, they touch her body, and it starts to tickle her. The reeds are touching everywhere on her backside and below. As they walk further, she becomes even more restless, with her entire body dripping water. She can't avoid the reeds as they stroke her body. Her face turns red while she questions why her master has chosen the bushy path for them to walk on. She can feel the plants right under her dress, touching her like it's a man's hand. Her affection continues to increase, and when she is already reaching her limit, Hida tells Haran that the reeds are making her itchy and hot. She tells Haran that her body is acting all weird, and she might not be able to hold it in. Haran is shocked to see how sensitive Hida is. He didn't know it was that much. He remembers that the last time she got totally overwhelmed just from blood-sucking. He realizes that Hida might just vanish again if this keeps up. He then grabs her and carries her on his back, telling her that this will prevent the reeds from getting to her. Hida is thankful for this, telling Haran that the reeds are no longer tickling her. However, with their bodies pressed together, her affection level cannot stop growing. The more Haoran walks, the more Hida feels his body against hers. In fact, she considers it to be far worse than that of the reeds. She is forced to speak out, telling Haoran that she can't take it anymore because she might just lose control any time. She tells Haoran that she needs to leave, but Haoran quickly drops her on a grass surface. She lands on the floor with all of her body totally wet. She wonders what Haoran is trying to do with her. Since Hada's affection is almost at the maximum level, Haoran figures out that he can't back out again. He tells Hada that he cannot let her go yet since he needs her for something quite important. When she hears this, she immediately assumes that Haoran is about to get down with her, even though they don't have that type of relationship yet. However, she knows that she can't say no if Haoran wants to take things to the extreme. Just then, Haoran starts touching her, and he tells her to stop trying so hard. He lets her know that she is quite important to him since she is his first summoned companion. Haoran then reveals that he only wanted a walk from her and nothing more. Hida is shocked when she hears this, and her affection level shoots up to 98%. She realizes that she is the one who is having naughty thoughts. Haoran then apologizes to Hida, telling her that he knows how sensitive her body is, but he still brought her to a place filled with reeds. Haoran starts to narrate, saying life was hard for him when he was younger. He mentions that whenever he is tired of life, he comes to the lake to stare just like they are currently doing. Haoran says there is something about the still water that calms him down and gives him the strength to keep going. Hida cannot believe that her master has a vulnerable side, but that is not the only thing coming as a shock to her. She is more shocked that Haoran is opening up to her, just like couples who walk under the night stars. With Haoran showing his weak side to Hida, he is able to push her affection level to 100%. Haoran is shocked when the system tells him that he has maxed Hida's affection, but instead of peak blood, this time, he is getting the blood-forged castle. Haoran assumes that the first two pulls must have been lucky draws for him. However, he is confident that the reward will still be special since it is a secret reward. Haoran checks the details of the skill. The skill constructs a personal fortress in a desolate region. Inside the domain's range, Haoran and his followers rapidly regenerate MP and HP. Haoran realizes that he just got a fortress, a healing zone, and a home base for building up his forces. Just then, the soul resonance skill activates and Hida's chest starts to glow. Momentarily, a pendant appears from her chest. The pendant is known as the Spirit Pendant. It grants an additional 88 points to his spirit stat, which controls his mana. The pendant also gives status resistance and a 5% chance to nullify magical attacks. In addition to this, the pendant gives a 10% chance to nullify control-type spells. Haoran checks out the necklace, and he is blown away by the perks that come with it. It helps boost resistance against abnormalities, and it even gives a chance to nullify magic attacks. Haoran is confident that the necklace will play a good role when it comes to dealing with magic users. Haoran then explains to Hida that the item is a soul resonance exclusive item that he can only use when their souls and hearts are aligned perfectly. Because of the importance of the item, Haoran assures Hida that he owes her a favor. After hearing the explanation from her master, Hida finally realizes why her chest was feeling tingling. She compares it to birthing a baby for her master. Haoran figures out that his next step will be to keep pushing forward in the blood prison arena to defeat opponents and get more followers. After this, he is going to max out their affection in the shortest possible time. He hopes that he can get peak blood because this will change his fortune. With this, he doesn't need to fear the top guys at the elite center. Haoran is also not worried, even if he doesn't draw peak blood since he can just use the blood castle to start his own domain. Haoran is thinking about this when Hida suddenly holds him from behind. He is shocked, and Hida reveals how glad she is that it means a lot to her master. She considers her master the one she has been waiting for. Since their heart and soul are connected according to Haoran, Hida believes that they are basically soulmates. She concludes that she has also given Haoran a baby, and because of this, she wants their bodies to connect better. This is when it dawns on Haoran that the soul resonance overstimulates the lady, and she has gone off the charts. Without holding back, she kisses Haoran. As expected, the two get down together, and Hida receives Haoran's essence. As usual, her stats get boosted, and she jumps to the mid-5th tier rank. Hida lies on the ground, moaning and talking about how nice she feels. She mentions the unforgettable experience that Haoran has just given her. Haoran just stands there, disgusted, as he realizes that Hida is too sensitive, and he needs to do something about it. Haoran doesn't want her sensitivity to become an issue in battle. Since the moon is out, Haoran decides to enter the arena while he can. As usual, he is welcomed to the battlefield, and he is told that all of his gear and consumables are disabled except for exclusive equipment. He is then told to pick his battle equipment, and since his exclusive equipment is still active, he decides not to pick a weapon. Instead, he picks the Topaz Gourd, which restores 15% HP per use, and it has 3 uses available. When it comes to the buff section, there is the Thornmail, which reflects back 20% of the damage taken to the enemy. There is also the risky adventure, which causes an instant 50% HP loss. If victorious, it increases max HP. The loot value also increases by 20%. The last one is the Berserker buff, and with this, he begins the battle with a 20% bonus attack power. Because he is on a sensitive time mission, Howran realizes that he needs the fastest power gain even if it turns out to be risky. And because of this, he surprisingly picks the risky adventure buff. With this, Howran steps into the third floor of the Blood Prison Arena. The commentator lets everyone know that he is entering the arena with 3 pieces of exclusive gear. She wonders if Howran will be able to keep up his streak. She then announces the arrival of his opponent, who is a divine knight who wields the sun and the silver moon. She is a 5th-tier beast Centaur warrior, and practically, her name is Centaur. Centaur admits that Howran is pretty skilled for him to have defeated the flame demon. However, she assures Howran that he has no chance against her. While she is busy boasting, Howran is just thinking about Centaur being the first rare species that he has seen. Howran then tells Centaur to keep her mouth to herself because she talks a lot. Centaur immediately unleashes a weird aura from her body, and when it hits Howran, it triggers a status effect that forces him to attack Centaur. Howran swings his sword at Centaur, unleashing a red aura to attack her. However, Centaur is able to block the attack, and in the process, she also charges her shield. Centaur admits that Howran's power is unreal. Centaur then tells Howran not to stop attacking her. She wants him to hit her with everything he has in his tank. Howran is disgusted with Centaur's arrogance, and he promises to punish her once he defeats her. However, all of his attacks keep hitting her shield, and it continues charging it. Just then, one of Howran's skills kicks into play, and he is able to gain resistance to the status effect that is affecting him. Howran is glad that he got the abnormal resistance from Hida, since this is what helped him break away from the annoying effect that is affecting him. Howran is surprised at how thick the Centaur's shield is since he has hit it with the Bloodblade and the Knight Affinity bonus, but still couldn't break through. On the other hand, Centaur is shocked to see Howran moving when the taunt effect should still be active. She suddenly figures out that Howran might be a big problem since he has a control resistance skill at his disposal. However, Centaur believes that she still has the upper hand since her Silver Moon Lance is fully charged, all thanks to Howran's incredible attack power. Centaur grabs her lance, telling Howran that she is about to crush him. She unleashes an energy blast from the lance that throws Howran away like he is nothing. Howran is hurt, but when he manages to pull himself together, he realizes that something is extremely off with Centaur's energy burst. Suddenly it dawns on him that Centaur used the taunt effect on him, forcing him to attack her shield while she absorbs the energy into her spear. It is basically a mechanism that allows her to use his own attack against him. It is a simple tactic of the harder and more powerful he hits her, the stronger she gets, and even hits him with it. The commentator notices that Howran is backed into a corner, and she mentions that only a genius move can save Howran in his current position. Howran leaps up from where he is and heads straight for Centaur. Just as he reaches her, he throws away his sword, leaving Centaur shocked, wondering what it is that Howran is doing. Centaur screams at Howran, telling him not to give up and even to hit her harder. Centaur then uses the taunt effect on Howran again, forcing him to attack. However, his skill comes into play and reduces the effect of the taunting. Howran punches Centaur's shield with his bare hands, and it finally dawns on Centaur that Howran intentionally dropped his weapon to reduce his attack power and to shorten the taunt window so she doesn't get enough power to charge her weapon. Centaur is impressed with the fact that this is Howran's first time fighting her, and he has already figured out the loophole in her tactics. However, Centaur doesn't think any of this matters because she didn't become a 5th-tier beast thanks to her defense alone. She charges toward Howran and pushes her spear into his shoulder while asking him what he plans to do since he has lost his weapon. Howran smiles while staring at her and asks if she thinks the only thing he relies on is his sword. By holding on to Centaur's spear, he activates the Blood Prison Burial skill. Centaur is shocked when she realizes that blood from Howran's body is starting to move. The blood relieves Centaur of her shield and wraps around her neck like a rope, ready to strangle her. It turns out that Howran has upgraded his Blood Prison Burial skill, and with this it has become fully customizable. With Centaur defenseless, it dawns on her that Howran has been setting this up from the very start. Every move he made was basically to bait her into attacking him. Centaur gives Howran his credits, but berates him for using embarrassing tactics. Howran then tells Centaur that he has improved on his skills and the fact that he wants Centaur as his follower. Before Centaur realizes what is happening, Howran is already sitting on her back. Howran assures her that he could have impaled her and ended her if he didn't want her alive. And since she is a Centaur, Howran has crazy plans for her. He holds her by the neck, and she starts to feel Howran's presence on her body, causing her face to turn red. As usual, the spectator almost goes crazy when she realizes that Howran is pinning Centaur down with his body. She admits that the move is brutal, but her body won't stop resonating with it. On the other hand, Centaur is wondering why a man has to be the first person to ride on her elegant back. She can feel Howran's body pressing against hers, making it impossible for her to break free. She can feel pain and excitement at the same time, and she figures out that she is just going to suffocate if it continues the way it is. She tries fighting back so she doesn't die, and as she tries to raise her legs, Howran lets her know that they are both going to go down if she doesn't surrender. Her face has now turned pale, and Howran continues to choke her more forcefully than he was doing before. Unable to handle the choking, she passes out, leaving the commentator shocked. Since Centaur is unable to continue the fight, Howran is automatically declared the winner. Howran is proud of himself, and he whips out the gourd to take a sip from it. The commentator then mentions that Howran has the right to challenge the fourth floor now. Howran checks through his stats and realizes that his stamina is down to 45%. Even though he took some really good hits, Howran is still proud of the fact that he was able to pull through. Since he has taken a sip out of the gourd to restore some of his HP, he now has 2 uses left on it. As his reward, he gets a skill point to upgrade his skills. The system then asks him if he is willing to challenge the fourth floor. He is informed that agreeing to continue will preserve his gear and buffs. Since he can proceed with his buff and the gourd with him, he decides to take on the challenge. He agrees to get transferred to the fourth floor. Arriving at the fourth floor, the commentator starts to announce his opponent, but he is not scared since he believes that he is still in his optimal state. He only had to play it safe in the last round because of Centaur's annoying mechanics. This time around, he is prepared to show everyone what the Bloodblade can really do if he gets the chance to use it. His opponent has not even fully entered the arena before unleashing her tentacles on Howran. Howran is quick to cut them down with quick precision. Howran is surprised that his opponent is eager to fight, or rather impatient to be defeated. His opponent finally shows her face, and she tells Howran that his aura is so tempting, which is why she couldn't resist the urge to attack him. It turns out that his next opponent is Bide, and she is a Tier 5 mimic tentacle beast. She has legs like those of an octopus, and she is imagining the several ways in which she can get to have fun with Howran. Howran is disgusted by her nonchalant behavior and decides that it would be nice if he takes her out pretty fast. He charges toward her, ready to cut her down, but she proves to be as fast as she slides out of the way. Howran misses his sword slash, leaving him open on the side. With this, Bide is able to launch an attack at him. Thanks to his insane reflexes, he is able to move out of the way before Bide's tentacles catch him. Howran lets Bide know that his tentacles are nothing to him. However, Bide lets him know that he is making his judgment way too fast. Before Howran knows it, several of her tentacles appear all around him, leaving him to wonder what Bide is trying to do. He assumes that Bide is trying to lock down his movements, but suddenly, he gets grabbed by the tentacles and he is lifted off the ground. Howran loses control of his arms and legs, and he realizes that he just fell right into Bide's trap. Bide grins at Howran, telling him that she now has him under her thumb, which means the only thing left for her is to figure out the best way to cause him serious agony. Just by saying this, Bide has gotten all red and wet as she cannot wait to do her thing with Howran. The commentator lets everyone know that Bide's tentacles are not for fun, and Howran most likely got caught because he hasn't fully recovered from his fight against Centaur. The commentator believes that it is the end for Howran, and his decision to fight 2 Tier 5 beasts consecutively is his downfall. Howran realizes that he is in trouble when he gets the notification that he has been poisoned, and he is losing 0.5% of his HP per second. This is going to last for 60 seconds, and it dawns on him that Bide's tentacles are laced with poison. It's not just any regular poison, but a very potent one. From his calculations, Howran clearly knows that he will be a dead man in under 2 minutes. Bide makes fun of him, telling him that her tentacles are covered in countless tiny mouths, and all of these mouths are now attached to his skin, constantly injecting deadly poisons into his body. Bide tells Howran that the moment she grabbed him, the fight was already over. However, Bide says she might consider letting him live if he behaves himself. Suddenly, Bide feels a weird sensation running through her body and she starts moaning. It turns out that Howran has bitten her tentacles in a moment of desperation, and he is now sucking her blood via the bite source. Howran uses this to complete his daily quest, as well as inflicting damage on Bide. Bide is forced to let go while telling Howran that she is pretty mad because Howran is playing dirty. Just then, Howran vanishes from her sight, leaving her to wonder where the dude disappeared to. Howran had used blood concealment to enter a brief invisible state. While invisible, he whips out the topaz gourd and takes another sip to recover his lost health. He admits that Bide's poisoned tentacles are a problem because getting tagged once costs 30% of his HP. Since his gourd only has 1 use left, Howran figures out that he might be dead meat if he doesn't settle the fight quickly. Meanwhile, Bide is still wondering where Howran is coming from. While trying to figure this out, Howran shocks her by suddenly appearing from below. One of his blood spikes strikes through her middle body, almost impaling her, but she manages to dodge a fatal strike to her heart. Before she knows it, several blood spikes appear from under her, forcing her to change position. She jumps off to rotate, but before she lands, she realizes that Howran has already placed blood spikes everywhere, which means there is no place she wants to land without getting touched. Momentarily, she gets caught in the blood spikes, cutting through her tentacles. The confident Bide starts complaining, calling Howran a rough dude for not pitying her as a woman. She still believes that the fight is in her favor as she boastfully tells Howran that he has pissed her off. Suddenly, Bide hears Howran's voice coming from behind her. Howran lets her know that he has no interest in pitying her until he has tamed her. This is when it dawns on Bide that Howran has more tricks up his sleeve, and he is even more dangerous than she gave him credit for. Howran appears where she least expects, and he swings so hard that it leaves a trail of aura behind. By the time Bide realizes what is going on, her tentacles are gone. She crashes to the ground, and because Howran uses the blood blade, Bide enters a bleeding state which will cause her to lose 1.5% of her HP every second. Bide rolls on the ground while screaming at Howran for wrecking her beautiful body. She promises not to forgive him for what he just did. Meanwhile, Howran's HP has hit 39%, and he admits that Tier 5 beasts are not to be messed with. Just by getting himself poisoned, he almost died. Howran takes the last sip of the gourd, and his abnormal status also kicks into play to resist the poison. Howran is glad that he has Hida's resistance and the gourd because he would have been a dead man. Howran walks toward Bide, teasing her for being nothing without tentacles. Howran raises his sword, ready to strike her down, but Bide begs for mercy, admitting that she was wrong. The moment Howran lets his guard down, Bide fires a magical energy beam from her head, and it hits Howran. Howran would have been toast, but he got lucky and remains alive thanks to the necklace that he just got from Hida. Thanks to the necklace, he is able to negate Bide's magic attack. Bide is shocked to see that her last-ditch effort to take Howran out just failed spectacularly. Howran is pissed that Bide tricked him, but she starts begging all over again. She tells Howran that she is truly surrendering this time around, but Howran is not ready to trust her a second time. Without holding back, he cuts her, and the force from the attack throws her backward, leaving her purple octopus blood spilling everywhere. Bide crashes to the ground in pain as she struggles to hold on. Howran lets her know that she is going to receive some proper lessons from him after he tames her. With this, Howran comes out as the winner of the battle. The commentator is impressed that Howran is able to take out 2 high-level beasts consecutively. As for his rewards, he receives an increased resistance to poison damage. He also gets a skill point. As a bonus, he acquires the Tentacle Stronghold, which is a skill that summons several tentacles from behind to bind and double-hit enemies. Howran is impressed that he actually got Bide's skill, and he considers it a very sweet and worthy bonus. Howran figures that the risk was actually worth it, but Sally leaves him with a warning. She tells him that the Blood Prison Arena unleashes a Blood Tier Guardian every 5 floors. This means Howran will go up against a boss-level beast when he advances to the 5th level. Sally mentions that the bosses are always dangerous and the difficulty level is pretty high. Sally gives him a sneak peek into the next beast, and it turns out to be Gorgon Medusa, a beast straight out of the legends. Sally urges Howran to be fully prepared when he wants to go against Medusa, or he won't live to tell the tale. Howran grins, thanking Sally for the tip. When Howran returns to the village, he consumes multiple potions, and after this, Nico starts wrapping his body with bandages. He tries telling Nico that there is no need for bandages since he has taken healing potions, but Nico disagrees. She tells Howran that she wants his beautiful body to remain scarless without blemish. Nico was also worried because this was the first time she would see Howran receive this much damage. Howran understands her, but he lets her know that this is the price he gets for trying to get stronger. He lets Nico know that surviving in this world means being ready to fight for everything. Elsewhere, Tianxiong complains that the Supreme Tier Awakened won't arrive until later. He believes that by the time they show up, things will not be the same. He knows that his colleagues do not care because they were not the ones who lost their people. Since he doesn't have much time left, all he can think of is avenging his sons. Just then, his personal doctor, who is a beautiful lady, Liu Yao, tells him that there are still some hungry guilds in J City. She wants to find a way to convince them to support Tianxiong's cause since she is from B City and no one knows her in J City. Apparently, Liu Yao is a Star Diamond Tier Awakened, and she looks pretty dangerous. Tianxiong is shocked to hear this, and Liu Yao admits that the plan is a bit extreme. However, desperate times call for desperate measures. Liu Yao also knows that if she gets caught, it will be the definite end for her. Liu Yao then tells Tianxiong that she only wants one thing in return for her troubles. Since his sons are gone and she has been loyal to him for years, she wants Tianxiong to add her to his will. Later on, at the Justice Guild's checkpoint, which is at the outskirts of J City, they notice someone walking up to the checkpoint, and they demand that they identify themselves. Apparently, there is a rule to prevent people from moving out of the city because of the dangerous beast ravaging the land. The figure walking up to them turns out to be Liu Yao, but she is wearing a hat and a mask to keep her identity hidden. The soldiers urge her to go back home since the area is not safe, but her hair suddenly turns into super long spears, and with this, she impales every single person in the outpost. She not only impales them, but also drains their life force, leaving them thin and frail like a 200-year-old corpse. Liu Yao admits that she never wanted to kill them, but she is fixated on Tianxiong's wealth, and she wants it since the old man is already dying. She brings out a test tube containing a special reagent that she made using Haran's remnant aura that she found on Yuwu's corpse. She pours a bit of the reagent on the ground, and this is to mask her presence at the crime scene. With this, no one would know it is her, and they will just conclude that Haran was the one who attacked the outpost. Liu Yao is a desperate lady who wants everything Tianxiong owns by force. Liu Yao continues attacking more outposts while leaving Haran's aura there to make it seem like he is the one doing all the attacking. In no time, everyone considers Haran a threat. When the leader of the Justice Guild, Liu Zhengyi, gets wind of what happened to his men, he gets really mad. He calls it an insult to his guild and believes that it is time he punishes Haran for what he has done. On the other hand, Luo Xuan, a Star Diamond Awakened, is also mad. She wants to become an idol so badly, and because of this, she has gathered enough people to have a great debut, but all of them were wiped out. She blames Haran for this, which is exactly what Liu Yao wants. She swears to keep fighting until she sees Haran buried. Bai Lilian also gets wind of everything that is happening. Since he is a logical person and he is smart, he figures out that something is off. All the evidence points to Haran as the perpetrator, but he doesn't see any reason why Haran would break from his pattern. He has only attacked people from the elite center, so attacking the other guilds and groups sounds stupid to Bai. The other person who knows that something is up is Sure. She knows that her master has no reason to attack the outposts for no reason. She is undergoing a yoga session when Li Hongping enters her apartment. She is shocked to see the woman in her house, as it turns out that she is her mother. Sure demands to know why her mother is at her house since she has not visited her in years. Li Hongping apologizes, saying her job has been keeping her busy. In addition to that, she is trying to make sure that Shure's identity remains hidden. Li Hongping then mentions that Haoran is causing trouble in the city, which is why she came to see her daughter. Shure then cuts in, telling her mother that Haran is not the culprit since he has nothing to gain from everything that is currently going on. Her mother is shocked to hear this, and she immediately suspects that they are close. Shure lies that she is not close to Haran but only got lucky to have escaped once. Li Hongping tells Shure that she is a terrible liar and reminds her of the ability she wields. It then dawns on Shure that her mother actually came to investigate Haran, not to check on her well-being. Shure is not surprised by this since her mother never wanted her in the first place. Shure claims that she has been working so hard just so her mother can notice her, but she has never done that. Li Hongping then reveals that she has no choice but to come since someone else would have come to interrogate her if it were not her. Li Hongping claims that everything she is doing is to protect her daughter. While talking to Shure, she is using her ability to read through her memories. She sees everything that Shure has been through together. She watches as Haoran pounds her daughter, leaving her totally horrified. When Shure realizes that her mother went through her memory without asking her, she gets mad. Her mother then apologizes, but lets Shure know that she has seen the name Haoran somewhere before. Li Hongping says Haoran is not a beast, but a supposedly dead dude. She narrates that she read a report that a porter from the elite center died during a mission, and his name was Haoran. Shure's mother lets her know that the picture in her memory matches the one she saw. Hongping reminds Shure that Haoran asked her about the elite center before systematically wiping out his former squad members. Hongping is already convinced that it is the same Haoran. Hongping is impressed with the fact that Haoran supposedly died, but a few days later he arose as a beast. However, he still has his humanity intact, which piques Hongping's interest. Hongping is blown away by the mere thought that Haoran is a normal human who managed to gain beast powers. Hongping then pats her daughter on the shoulder, telling her that she did well by getting on Haoran's good side. She remembers that Haoran blew her cover just to save her from Yuwu. Because of this, Hongping is ready to use Red City's resources to protect Haoran. Hongping is convinced that Haoran is the key to their future. On the other hand, Haoran is trying to get stronger before he is attacked. Nico leads him to a cave that is supposedly filled with monsters that they can defeat to make Haoran stronger. Haoran is pleased with this since it provides exactly what he wants. The two head into the dark cave, and Nico lets Haoran know that she can barely see anything. Haoran realizes that his dark affinity doesn't allow him to be affected by darkness, and it also provides a buff for him. However, Nico and the others won't be able to survive in such an environment. Haoran isn't in the cave to train only himself, but the entire team, too. He activates Victor's Pact, and the first person he summons is Centaur. Centaur emerges from the depths, assuring Haoran that she is ready to fight on his behalf. He then summons Bide, who emerged from the depths, blushing and talking about how Haoran handled her the last time. Since her chopped-off tentacles haven't grown, she is appearing in a more human form with beautiful legs. However, Ballo starts talking trash when she appears from the depths. She demands to know why Howran summoned her, and she mentions that she would like to have a rematch with Zhur. She is the only one with a low affection, which is 10%. Howran is pissed, and he tells her to watch her tone because he summoned her to light the way for the team. This further triggers Ballo, who says she is not ready to light the way. She claims that Howran wasn't the one who defeated her the last time they fought. Howran gets a warning from the system, telling him that Ballo has low affection, and her dissatisfaction is off the charts. The system tells him to immediately subdue her. Howran finally realizes that Ballo is just mad that she lost during their match. He decides that teaching her a lesson is the best thing. He charges toward her, ready to throw a punch at her head, but she jumps backward, dodging the attack. Ballo then replies with a big fireball, telling Howran that he has no way to escape since they are in a cave. Ballo is confident that she has the win in the bag until Howran appears behind her, telling her to stop talking trash. Ballo is shocked that Howran is able to dodge her fireball, but before she can get another chance to move or do anything, Howran restrains her with his new skill, the tentacles. The tentacles grab Ballo, making it impossible for her to move, and Howran lets her know that she has already lost. Howran asks her if she is ready to cooperate, and she says yes, while asking that Howran forgive her. Since Howran has defeated her again, Ballo's affection finally jumps to 50%. With this, they proceed further into the cave, but Nico and Bide cling to their master. Howran reminds them that they are there to train, but this doesn't concern the two. Bide believes that her master takes her very important since he copied one of her skills. Momentarily, they reach the end of the cave, where there are several more paths. Skeletons litter the floor, and Centaur asks if they should split up to assess more paths. Howran says there is no need for this since all of the paths still lead back to the central chamber where they are standing. Howran mentions that the area is also covered in beast and animal bones. Howran takes a better look around and figures out that they are in a breeding pen, where beasts trap their prey to easily eat them. Howran then tells Centaur to use her taunt to draw out the beasts hiding in the caves so that they can wipe them all out in one go. Centaur acknowledges the order and demands that the beasts come out to fight her while unleashing her scary aura. This is enough to drag the monsters out from their hiding places, and the monsters residing in the caves turn out to be ugly, scary spiders. The spiders run towards Centaur, but she keeps her taunt effect on so that she can lure out all the spiders. The spiders are soon gathered around her shield, trying to break through, but can't. Once they are all in one place, Howran orders his followers to attack the spiders and wipe them all out in one go. Nico is the first to bring out her whip as she slashes the beast with it. Bide follows in her footsteps and unleashes tentacles to destroy her targets. Ballo also uses her flame breath to burn down the spiders with no pity. In no time, Howran's followers wipe out the spiders, giving him a ton of experience. Howran is pleased with the number of experience points he gained, even though the spiders are low-level beasts. Howran then learns that he has gotten a new skill, called Devil's Hand. This is a skill that allows him to cast a surge of demonic energy to grab enemies or objects from a distance. However, Howran is not yet pleased with the win, as he knows that there should be a high-level monster in the cave. He believes that the spiders will have a Spider King, and for some reason it didn't fall for Centaur's taunt. In addition to that, the small paths are not big enough for the spider, which means there is only one place that it could be, and that is up. Howran looks up, and just as he suspected, the Spider King is sitting comfortably above them. The Spider King releases a large quantity of acid venom from its mouth, and Howran screams at his followers, telling them to move out of the way. Thanks to Howran's warning, his followers are able to get out of the way, but the acid venom leaves a small crater where it landed. Bide reveals that the acid venom is a very dangerous substance, and even a drop of it can be absolutely fatal. They all look up to see the giant Spider King, which is a 6th-tier beast, staring down at them. Howran knows that at his level, the beast is a problem, but he is relieved that he has his followers to back him up against the beast. Howran activates the Devil's Hand skill, and he is able to drag down the Spider King with it. The spider hits the ground, leaving a loud bang, and Howran tells the girls to throw everything at the spider while it is still disoriented. Bide attacks the spider with her tentacles, and she is able to do a bit of damage to the beast. Centaur also throws her fully charged lance at the Spider King. She is confident that she is going to pierce through the spider's skin with it. To her biggest surprise, the spider easily catches her fully charged lance with its mouth, leaving her totally horrified. The spider finally gets into the action, and it unleashes its webs on all the girls, restraining their movements. They try to break through, but the spider's web is just too thick. In addition to being thick, it is also sticky and gross. Nico is pinned to the ground, and she concludes that there is no escape for them. Suddenly, the spider turns its attention to Nico, and the girl fears that she is done for. Nico assumes that the spider is intentionally targeting her because she is the weakest person on the team. Nico closes her eyes, ready to accept what the spider is about to do to her. Just before the spider can hurt Nico, Hauran attacks it, cutting off one of its annoying legs. Just as he cuts the spider's leg, acid spills out of its blood, telling Hauran that the spider is pretty annoying. Hauran figures out that a sixth beast is not a joke, but even with that, Hauran is not scared of attacking it. Since Hauran has one more follower in his bank, he unleashes her. Haida emerges and mentions that the spider's resistance is too high, which is why Centaur's taunt didn't affect it. She knows her howl of alpha won't affect the spider, but her cries persist over time. It might not induce fear in the spider immediately, but she is pretty sure that the longer this happens, the more she will be able to tear down the spider's resistance. The spider will have no choice but to enter into a state of confusion by the time Haida is done with it. Just then, the spider unleashes a poison rain to try and cover the whole area. Hauran immediately tells Balo to free her friends by burning off the webs. He then tells them to stay under Centaur's shield once they are free. Balo happily takes on the role, and she unleashes fiery breath on the webs. Hauran also turns to Bide, asking her if they can't resist the poison rain for a bit since they have poison resistance. Bide is happy to indulge in a dangerous mission with her master, and with this, the two attack the spider together. Hauran slashes the spider with his blood sword, causing it to enter a bleeding state. Hauran is pleased that the blood blade worked, and this is thanks to the fact that he has stacked up 3 bleed effects already. He hopes that he will be able to break through the spider's armor this way, but at the same time, he is worried about the acid in the spider's blood. He remembers that it was the same when he fought Bide in the arena, but the only difference is that he now has abnormal status resistance and poison resistance. Hauran figures out that he will be able to win if he can endure the spider's poison. Just then, the spider makes a desperate and daring move. The spider releases poison from its wound to cover the entire area. Hauran realizes how dangerous the situation is, and he immediately enters stealth mode. He realizes that the more he attacks the spider, the more injuries it has, but this also provides the spider with more pores to release its toxic acid and poison. Hauran knows that he is going to be at a disadvantage in the long run if it continues this way, which is why he needs a one-strike kill. Suddenly, Hauran realizes that the spider is heading for him, and this can only mean that the spider can see him even in his invisibility mode. Fear grips Hauran when he realizes that the spider is actually living in a dark cave and has never relied on its eyesight, which means his stealth mode is useless. Just as the spider rushes toward him to finish him, Haida's effect kicks in, and the Spider King gets confused. Haida immediately informs Hauran, telling him that her skill is in effect. She urges him to attack while the skill is still active. Bide also joins the fight, and she unleashes multiple tentacles to restrain the beast from moving from one spot. Bide notices that Hauran is hesitating, and she urges him not to, telling him that she is an octopus and she can easily regenerate. She is ready to get hit as long as the spider dies in the process. Hauran agrees to this, but assures Bide that he is going to reward her once the battle is over. This only motivates Bide further to grab onto the Spider King and not let go. Hauran then activates the blood prison burial, and several blood spikes impale the Spider King. The spider's blood splashes on Bide, causing her immense pain. She screams in agony while Hauran tries to finish off the Spider King. However, the Spider King is so resilient that it is even trying to escape while totally skewered by blood spikes. Even though the Spider King is proving to be stubborn, Hauran is not about to let it escape. He is confident that everything ends that very moment. Hauran then uses his telekinetic powers to drag the spider, and coupled with the spikes in its body, it gets shattered into pieces. Hauran is slapped with a ton of notifications after he defeats the Spider King. He also unlocks a new skill, Cain's Covenant. Whenever his HP drops below 10%, and he is under the moonlight, blood rain falls from the sky. In addition to this, blood erupts from his feet, and with this, he can enter a berserk vampire state with all of his cooldowns reset. Due to their involvement in the battle, Bide's affection has jumped to 89%, while Centaur's affection is at 70%, and Balo's affection is also at 70%. Hauran realizes that a strong performance in battle also helps raise his followers' affection level. Just then, Bide comes rushing at Hauran. She pushes him to the ground while saying she can't hold it in any longer. She reminds Hauran that he promised to reward her after the battle. She tells Hauran that she is ready for the reward. She wants them to get down together right there in the cave. Hauran fears for his life because he believes that she is going to be completely insatiable. Just then, Centaur calls Bide's attention to what she is doing. She reminds her that Hauran doesn't have regeneration like her, and they need to detox him before anything else. Bide agrees with what Centaur said and confesses that her emotions got the best of her. Just then, she mentions that her tentacles can share her regeneration if she shares them with anyone. She lets them know that it won't last long, but it will be enough to heal their acid-burned skin. Hauran is scared to touch the tentacles, reminding Bide that they are covered in poison. Bide then tells him a secret. Apparently, she can choose not to release toxins from her tentacles, and by doing this, Haoran and the others will get to enjoy her body. Once given this assurance, Haoran bites into Bide's tentacles. She screams in pleasure, urging Haoran to go easy on her. Centaur and Balo have not witnessed Haoran having fun with any of his followers before, and the scene appears totally off to them. However, Nico and Hida are both excited because they have both enjoyed their master's impressive essence. The entire group soon bites into Bide's tentacles so that they can all be healed. After they are done eating the tentacle, their injuries begin to heal. But Haoran notices that something doesn't add up. He realizes that he is feeling very hot all over his body, and his blood is pumping like crazy. This is when Bide mentions that she forgot one tiny but important detail. There is a side effect to the sharing in her regeneration. For a short while, everyone who shared in her regeneration will be synced to her emotions. It then dawns on Haoran that his body is heating up because he is sharing emotions with Bide. He is under her influence, but suddenly, it dawns on him that he is not the only one who ate her tentacles. He turns around to see the other girls in an excited state too. Hida mentions the big role she played in the battle and how she cried herself to the extreme just to break the spider's mind. Because of this, she thinks she deserves a reward. Nico also says she has been dragging Haoran down, but promises to do better next time. She then begs Haoran to motivate her by using his body. When it comes to Balo's turn, she claims to have dealt the most damage after Haoran. Since they are all getting rewards, she believes that she should be the first to get a reward. Just then, Bide taps Haoran on the shoulder, telling him that no one would have survived without her. And since she is the first to be promised a reward, she expects to be the first in line. Suddenly, Haoran screams at the girls for overstepping their boundaries. This shocks them, and Haoran continues, reminding them that he is their master and he will be the one to reward whoever he wants and whenever he deems fit. Haoran then twists things around, telling them all to come at him at the same time. The girls waste no time adhering to his instruction, and they all get down together at the same time. After the passionate reward session between Haoran and his girls, Balo breaks through to the next level. She can feel the amount of power running through her veins as she reaches Tier 5 with her affection level at 100%. Bide is impressed with the way Haoran handled all of them. Bide also broke through to Tier 6, and her affection level jumps to 100%. Nico and Hida only enjoyed the session since they had previously broken through to the next level. Meanwhile, Centaur is the only one who didn't get rewarded because she was not able to participate in the session. Haoran then gets the notification, telling him that 2 of his followers have reached 100% affection, and because of this, he has unlocked 2 rewards. The first reward is the blood puppet. This skill allows him to create a humanoid puppet that can absorb 1 instance of lethal damage. Haoran is surprised that he didn't get peak blood again. This is when it dawns on him that he can't rely on luck-based draws. He plans to get stronger through his own power, because this is the only way he can control his destiny. The second reward he was given is a skill called the Decaying Moon Scaffold. This summons 12 dark moon pillars entwined in chains which hold the target to an execution platform for a guaranteed beheading. Haoran is shocked by this because no matter how strong the opponent is, they are going to die once they are caught in the trap of the skill. While he is still carried away by the details of this skill, the system notifies him that he can perform soul resonance for 2 of his followers. Haoran then orders the system to go ahead with it. Balo is the first to notice that something is emerging from her chest. It turns out to be a flame cloak, and with this, Haoran gets a 50% fire damage reduction and also a chance to burn his attackers. After this, Bide's exclusive weapon also emerges. For Bide, she produces earrings, and the earrings give a 10% chance to inflict poison. After putting on the items, Haoran feels the intense power running through his body. He now has 5 exclusive items on his body, and they are all powering him up. Haoran realizes that with this, he can now face the Elite Center even though he doesn't have peak blood. Haoran checks his status panel to see how much he has grown so far, and he realizes that he has now reached level 42. After the team leaves the spider cave, they head to other beasts' nests to wipe them out. This is Haoran doing everything in his power to make sure he levels up in the shortest time possible. Elsewhere, Utian has disregarded the orders of the Awakened Association, and he joined forces with the Justice Guild and several other factions. They began a full-scale elimination of beasts across a 100-mile radius outside the city. All the places they touched, they didn't leave a single beast alive. Utian knows he will soon die, but he is holding on to life through his willpower just so he can get the chance to personally avenge his dead sons. When Shur learns of this, she is shocked. She cannot believe that Utian went rogue just to make sure he hunts Haoran down. To warn her master, she gets on a fast bike and heads to the succubus village. Shur is ready to stop Tianxiang before he does anything crazy. She rides through the woods at high speed, leaving a trail of dust behind her. Momentarily, Utian and his army arrive at the cliff located above the succubus village. Liu Yao says she can sense Haoran's faint aura in the village. In addition to that, the village is not far from where Yu Wen died. She tells Yu Tianxiong that the village is most definitely suspicious. She believes that the village has something to do with Haoran, even if he is not hiding there. She asks Yu Tianxiong what their course of action will be, and he tells her that they are going to do the usual, which is killing everyone in the village. Yu Tianxiong wants everyone to feel what it is like to lose someone precious. He raises his hand and unleashes fiery rocks at the village. This causes chaos in the village as they all try to run for their lives, believing that they are suffering from a natural disaster. One of the succubi falls to the ground while trying to escape from the fire. She twists her ankle, preventing her from moving. Just then, the succubus notices that something is weirdly off. The meteor rain is falling all over the village alone, which doesn't seem like something that would happen during a natural disaster. This is when it dawns on her that they are under attack. Some warriors appear in front of her, wielding their weapons, and talking about how happy they are to be raiding a succubus village because this is their first time. Even though the boys would like to get down with succubi, they have no choice but to follow Yu Tianxiong's order to wipe out every soul in the village. Suddenly, it starts to snow, leaving the warriors shocked because it's not supposed to. They are wondering what is wrong when Zhuer appears out of nowhere, activating her ice flower. Zhuer's ice flower impales the warrior and takes them out in an instant. The succubus is impressed by this, but it suddenly dawns on her that no one in the village uses ice powers. She starts to wonder who could have saved her, and she assumes that it is Haoran until she turns around to see Zhuer standing behind her. Zhuer was able to locate the village just in time to save the succubus. She assures the succubus that she has nothing to worry about because she is a friend to their master and she is there to protect them while Haoran is away. With just one burst of ice energy from her body, she is able to put out the fire ravaging the village, protecting the succubi in the process. The succubi are glad that someone arrived in time to save them. Liu Yao spots Zhuer in the village and she tells Yu Tianxiong about it. They are shocked that she is connected to the beasts after all. Liu Yao is also surprised by the level of power that she just used since she claims to be a gold rank. Yu Tianxiong doesn't care that she is strong, but only cares about the fact that she is a traitor. Just then, Zhuer screams at the warriors, telling them not to let Yu Tianxiong deceive them because he is the one behind the tragedies in the city. Zhuer assures the warriors that Haoran has nothing to do with it, and the old man only brought the warriors to the village under false pretenses. Liu Zhengyi is the first to question this, asking the old man if Zhuer is telling the truth. He reminds the old man that he actually broke the association rules and risked the lives of his men because he trusted him. Yu Tianxiong then uses reverse psychology on Liu Zhengyi, asking him if he is going to trust the words of a traitor over his own. Zhuer then continues, revealing that the Red City Group has already reported Yu Tianxiong to the Awakened Association, and Zhao Yifei is on her way to the city. Zhuer warns the warriors not to follow Yu Tianxiong's footsteps because it will only mean death for them. However, Liu Yao counters Zhuer's words with her own, claiming that she is only trying to buy time. Liu Yao says Zhuer doesn't have proof of whatever it is that she is saying. She then adds that she is a traitor who sided with the beast, and they are supposed to work together to eliminate her. Yu Tianxiong is the one to make the first move since Zhuer helped the person who killed his sons. He gathers his power and unleashes a massive fiery meteor aimed at the village and Zhuer. Zhuer realizes how dangerous the meteor is, but she knows that dodging it means all of the succubi will die. She doesn't want to run, but at the same time she is worried that she doesn't have enough power to actually stop the meteor. Zhuer is about to give up hope when Haoran appears in the sky, and using his blood powers, he destroys the meteor. Haoran cannot believe that he just left for a few days and someone is already raiding the village. He appreciates Zhuer's bravery for protecting the succubi and assures her that she is going to be rewarded. Zhuer simply replies that she was just doing her duties. Haoran then turns to Yu Tianxiong, telling him that he is ready to fight him since he wants to avenge his sons so badly. Apparently, Haoran is flying thanks to one of his skills, Devil's Wings, which grants him a 30% speed boost and a 20% damage bonus while airborne. Haoran confesses that he was the one who killed Yu Tianxiong's sons and lets him know that his sons deserve what they got. Since Yu Tianxiong wants revenge, he suggests that he face him alone without dragging others into the battle. Yu Tianxiong burns with anger the moment he lays his eyes on Haoran. He lets him know that he has been waiting for this moment since he heard about his sons' deaths. He plans to kill Haoran so that he can finally rest in peace. Before Haoran can react, Yu Tianxiong changes position. He almost catches Haoran in one of his attacks, but he manages to move at the last minute, not without sustaining some damage. It dawns on Haoran that Yu Tianxiong might be old, but he is still a legendary tier warrior, and he was only a step away from becoming a supreme tier awakened. Haoran admits that Yu Tianxiong's fire magic is something to be worried about, and he definitely would have been a goner if not for the fire cloak he has on. Haoran is still trying to track his movement when Yu Tianxiong appears behind him again. Yu Tianxiong cannot believe that a slow person like Haoran is the one who killed his children. Utian accumulates enough firepower and he launches a large fireball at Haoran. Without enough time to dodge the attack, Haoran gets caught in it. Haoran watches as the fireball comes directly at him, and he realizes that Utian is not playing around. The fireball hits, destroying Haoran and everything in its path. The succubi see this and scream Haoran's name, believing that he is gone. Even Liu Zhengyi is shocked at what he just witnessed. He doesn't believe that someone as old as Utian can still conjure such a scary fireball to take out his target. Fire engulfs everywhere, scaring those who bear witness to it. Utian stands above the fire, boasting that Haoran is done for, and even if he doesn't die from his last attack, he definitely has become a cripple. Utian assumes that the battle is over, and he is relieved that he managed to avenge his dead sons. Suddenly, he hears Haoran's voice, asking him why he thinks the battle is over. Utian is shocked, and when he looks closer, he sees a charred dummy where Haoran is supposed to be standing. Apparently, Haoran used the blood puppet, which allowed him to summon a humanoid puppet to take Utian's fatal blow on his behalf. Momentarily, the system identifies Utian's hostility and gives Haoran 5 minutes to eliminate him, just like it did with Yu Wu. He is assured of a reward if he completes the mission, but if he doesn't, he will lose attributes and also be forced into the Abyss Zone. Haoran cannot believe that the system expects him to kill someone as powerful as Utian in 5 minutes. To make it worse, he doesn't have peak blood. Since he is not ready to lose attributes, Haoran plans to throw everything he has at Utian. Utian's illness gets to him, and he starts to cough. He cannot believe that he wasn't able to kill Haoran. Apparently, his flame light is so powerful that no creature can survive the blast without taking damage. He continues coughing while trying to hold out, and Liu Yao notices that the old man's body is already failing him. Realizing this, Liu Yao orders the warriors to attack Haoran. They all oblige and start rushing toward Haoran. Luo Xuan leads the way because she is pissed that Haoran was the one who shattered her dream of becoming an idol. Liu Zhengyi is also hyped to join the fight since he stands for justice. However, Nico and the rest of Haoran's followers arrive just in time to support their master. Since all the warriors are busy with his followers, Haoran notices that Liu Yao is the only one left with Utian. He plans to take on the old man since this might be his only chance to defeat him. Haoran excitedly taps into his skill list, and he creates the mini blood moon. This creates a blood moon that lasts for 1 hour. When the moon is active, Haoran and his followers get double attributes. The moment the moon moves into the sky, Haoran feels the immense power surging through his body. He realizes that his power didn't only double, but he also got strong enough to create a whole new night sky. Luo Xuan finds herself fighting Nico and Hida. She admits that the two are quite incredible, and if they were not her enemies, she probably would have scouted them into her idol school. Liu Zhengyi is also going up against Balo and Centaur, and he tells the girls that he won't be holding back against them just because they are ladies. On the other hand, Utian rushes to his vehicle and he starts injecting himself with the new experimental drug so that he can get the chance to continue fighting. Liu Yao is shocked when she sees the amount of syringes he has used, telling him that it is way too much. Utian screams at the lady to keep her mouth shut since he is ready to do whatever it takes to make sure that Haoran tastes dust. Haoran mocks him for trying to stay in the fight while running on drugs. Since Liu Yao wants his inheritance, the old man tells her to make sure that Haoran doesn't get to him before the drug effect kicks in. He assures her that he is going to put her name in his will if she manages to do this. Liu Yao easily figures out that the old man is trying to bribe her, but she doesn't mind since she loves money like crazy. She is willing to take the risks as long as it means making more money. She leaps toward Haoran, but before she can get to him, Haoran vanishes right before her eyes, shocking her. Haoran appears right in front of Utian and kicks him in the head so hard that he is sent flying into the distance before he crashes into the ground. Haoran realizes that Utian was dousing himself with the same drug that Zijin used during their fight. The only difference is that the old man has taken way more than what Zijin took. Liu Yao tries to attack Haoran from behind, but an ice wall blocks her attack, sending her tumbling backward. She gets back up to see that it was Yor who blocked her attack. Yor lets her know that she has no right to interfere in Haoran's battle against Utian. She assures Liu Yao that she is more than enough to be her target. Liu Yao cannot believe that Yor is calling Haoran her master, and she considers this the lowest of the low, even for someone like herself, who really has low standards when it comes to men. Momentarily, the drug starts to kick in, and Utian emerges with an explosive force that catches everyone's attention. A fiery aura appears around him while his eyes shoot out fire beams. Utian feels the power rushing through him and mentions that he feels like an 18-year-old kid again. He is glad that the new drug was created because it sure feels amazing. He turns to Haoran, telling him that he has achieved his peak form and he is now ready to fight him. Haoran easily figures out that the old man is running on some really expensive fuel, and even with his double stats, he still doesn't stand a chance. He realizes that the old man can feel this, which is why he is also very confident. However, he knows that the power is coming from the drug, and it is definitely wrecking his body. Howran thinks of stalling him until the drug effect wears off, but at the same time, he realizes that he doesn't have to do that. He has less than 3 minutes to kill Utian and complete the emergency mission. Utian unleashes the firepower that he sends into the ground, and before Howran knows it, the flames emerge right under him and come for him. Several beams of flames appear all around Howran and surround him. Fear runs through Howran's body, and he easily figures out that he sure doesn't have what it takes to get a hit head-on. He is also worried that the mission timer is running out as he has only 2 minutes left. Nonetheless, Howran wants to stay calm because he can't give Utian the chance to land a clean hit, or else he is a dead man. Howran decides to play it cool and wait for the right moment to make his move. Suddenly, Utian appears right behind him, shocking him. Before Howran can react, Utian sends him crashing into the ground with a powerful flame punch that wrecks the ground beneath them. Utian realizes that Howran is within his grasp, and he dashes toward him with a powerful headbutt. But Howran dodges the hit, leaving the old man to crash directly into the ground with his head. He almost shatters the entire area with his head, but he is shocked that he misses Howran. He gets back up in anger, wondering where Howran disappeared to. Howran has entered stealth mode, and since he is used to the whole area, he wants to use his environment to his advantage. Since his stealth mode also has a 5% attack bonus when he reveals himself, this is a pretty handful for Howran. Howran figures out that the rock under Utian is brittle, and there is no way it will be able to handle his attacks. Since he knows this, he decides to wait for the right moment before he strikes. Utian screams like a maniac while unleashing a fiery aura, telling Howran to come out and fight him like a man. However, his latest showboat turns out to be a mistake as the rock beneath him caves in and he starts falling in. Howran grins like an evil vampire lord, as this is what he has been waiting for. However, Utian doesn't feel the effect of crashing down the mountain as he raves about how impressive the new drug is. The entire area where Utian is flowing with lava and a thick cloud of fiery smoke fills the air. Liu Yao is blown away by the amount of power the old man is pushing out thanks to the new drug, but she knows that Utian will suffer some consequence because the experimental drug is not yet stable, and his body might not be able to handle the side effects. She fears that the high number of drugs that Utian has injected into his body is crazy and might lead to something they won't be able to handle. Just then, the system reminds Howran that he has less than a minute to kill Utian. Howran then swings into action, telling Utian that he has reached the end of the road. Howran activates the Morning Moon execution pillar, and giant beams covered in chains appear all around the area where the old man is standing. Liu Zhengyi feels the aura coming from the skill that Howran just used, and he sends a chill running down his spine. Nico smiles when she realizes that Howran has tapped into his trump card. Utian is caught between the beams as the chains hold him in one place. Utian screams at Howran, claiming that he attacked him from behind. However, he is still confident that he will break free from the chains because they can't hold him down. Howran then lets him know that the chains are not there to restrict him. He assures him that he is going to become a headless person very soon because this is the work of the execution pillar that just caught him. Utian eyes light up in shock and fear. The moment Howran realizes that the time is running out and he has just 16 seconds left, he gives the pillars the go-ahead to finish Utian off. Utian can sense what is coming, and he screams. But it is already too late as the chains wrap around his neck and with a great force, they tear his head right off his body, leaving blood splashed everywhere as his headless body remains restrained to the pillars. His head flies in another direction and Howran gets the notification that he has defeated Utian. Howran gets a ton of attributes as he stays under the mini blood moon like a proper vampire god. Since he completed the emergency mission before the time ran out, a special reward was given to him. He is given 3 bonus transformation skill points, which may enhance any 3 skills that he chooses. After defeating the old man, Howran turns to the other warriors, telling them to stand down. Howran mentions that the battle between him and Utian was a personal one, and it has nothing to do with the warriors. He assures them that Utian was only using them for his own personal gains. Because of this, Howran promises to be merciful. Since his mission is to kill Utian and no one else, Howran says with a stern voice, telling the warriors to drop their weapons and get out of his turf. Howran lets them know that they have just 30 seconds to leave because he won't be given second chances once the clock runs out. Liu Yao tries to assess the situation. She knows that Utian juiced up on the new drug like crazy, but he still lost to Howran. She easily figures out that Howran is pretty strong. However, she is worried that Howran is letting them go, which is unusual for him. She starts wondering why Howran would do something like that, as if he had suddenly grown a conscience. Liu Yao also believes that Howran might be exhausted from the battle. After looking at all the angles, Liu Yao still dips out of there because she is not ready to put her life at risk on a guess. She considers it a risk too high to take. Liu Yao turns tail and starts running when she still has the chance. The other warriors also do the same because they definitely do not have a chance against someone who could defeat Utian. They are all running away from the area as they consider Haoran to be a freak. Those who can get inside their vehicles do so since they are not ready to wait around till Haoran changes his mind. Balo is pissed that Haoran is letting the warriors go when they could have wiped the floor with all of them. Bide then urges her not to question Haoran's decision because he knows what he is doing. Bide points out the fact that they are still outnumbered even if Utian is dead. Bide easily figures out that if it comes down to a full-on fight, they will be at a disadvantage. She blushes as she realizes that Haoran was trying to protect them. 30 seconds later, Haoran notices that everyone else has run away except for Liu Zhengyi and Luo Xuan. He asks them why they are not running since he can easily eliminate them the same way he just did with Utian. Liu Zhengyi is the first to open his mouth to speak, telling Haoran that he is not scared to die. But he can't accept the fact that his guild members died for nothing. Liu Zhengyi mentions that he is ready to die as long as he gets justice for his dead comrades. This is when Luo Xuan cuts in, telling Liu Zhengyi that he is really dumb in the head because there is no way Haoran would have let them go if he were the one who killed the people at the outposts. She figures out that Utian used them as pawns. Liu Zhengyi is shocked by this revelation, and he asks the girl why she is still there when she knows the truth. Luo Xuan then starts walking up to Nico and Hida, saying she is still around because her fight with them is not over. She figured that the two are pretty strong, and she wants to test their strength. Haoran finally realizes the situation of the two that he is dealing with. He figures out that Liu Zhengyi is a justice-fueled dumbass with more guts than brains, while Luo Xuan is a wannabe idol who just charges into battle without thinking. Suddenly, something crazy happens as Utian's body starts to evolve. Haoran is shocked when he sees this because Utian is supposed to be dead, but his body is transformed into a giant body of fire. Haoran realizes that the drugs are still in his system, and even though he is dead, the drugs are still active. The energy from his body is about to explode, and this is going to be catastrophic. Just then, he gets a warning from the system telling him to stay on his toes because a massive energy source has been detected. Haoran wonders what else the system is warning him about if it is not Utian's evolving body. Suddenly, a huge summoned whale appears right above them. Luo Xuan is the first to figure out that a Supreme Tier Awakened has just shown up. The Supreme Tier Awakened turns out to be Zhao Yifei, and she is disappointed that Utian doesn't know when to give up. She mentions that he has himself to blame for relying on drugs. She says this while acting all cool while maintaining the dark, scary aura that surrounds her presence. Zhao Yifei then tells her whale to take care of the emerging problem by eating Utian's body. The whale does as instructed and gobbles up Utian's body, and it explodes right inside the whale, but it doesn't sustain any damage. After the body is done exploding, the fish only lets out the smoke like a proper smoker, and just so it can aura farm. Haoran is shocked when he sees this, as he doesn't want to believe that the whale just ate the exploding corpse of Utian and nothing happened to it. He figures out that this is just a summoned beast from Zhao Yifei, which means she is something else, if her summoned beast can do that. Haoran figures out that Zhao Yifei is here for Utian because of the way she spoke when she arrived. However, sweat runs down his face because he knows that he is done for if Zhao Yifei decides to fight him. Just then, Zhao Yifei speaks out. She is glad that she is finally meeting Haoran, and she mentions that he is more handsome than she imagined. Haoran is shocked when he realizes that Zhao Yifei knows who he is. Zhao Yifei assures him that she basically knows everything about him, down to his sister, who is in her final year of high school. Haoran immediately gets defensive when he hears this, assuming that Zhao Yifei is saying all of these as a way to threaten him. This is when Li Hongping appears, telling Haoran that they mean no harm. She confesses that she looked into Shure's memories to know who he is. She mentions that she and Zhao Yifei came on behalf of the Awakened Association to stop Utian's plot. Haoran then calls her attention back to Shure, as he starts to wonder if she is close to her. This is when Shure comes in, telling her master that Li Hongping is her mother, and she has the ability to read people's memories. She apologizes to her master, saying she didn't mean to reveal any info about him. At that moment, what is running through his head is how loaded Shure is. After this, Haoran activates the Blood-Forged Castle skill to rebuild the destroyed succubus village. With the help of the Blood Castle, he is able to heal his followers too. The succubi are all impressed by the healing power that came from staying inside the castle. The succubi blush because of how nice Haoran's power is for giving them a new home. Zhao Yifei and Hongping are still present at the castle, and Zhao Yifei mentions what she has heard about the succubi. She tells Shure that she learned that the succubi worship Haoran like a god, and that they do everything for him. Out of everything that she has heard, she is most interested in the pleasure part of it all. Sure knows what she is talking about, but turns her face to the other side and claims that she doesn't know. Haoran finds the ladies while they are busy talking about bedroom issues, and he asks Zhao Yifei why she went through all the trouble just to find him. Zhao Yifei mentions that the bedroom stuff is just something of a personal curiosity to her. However, she is there to talk about something far more important. She suggests that they go somewhere private so that they can talk alone. The two then headed to the Blood Castle conference room. As the two sit down to talk, Haoran is curious to know why Zhao Yifei didn't threaten him even though she already knows everything about him. He believes that Zhao Yifei is there to recruit him, and Zhao Yifei commends him for being a wise one. Zhao Yifei reveals that she is interested in Haoran's case because he was previously an ordinary dude with no talent and a terminal illness. Then, after he was attacked by a beast, he survived but awakened in the process, and he got extraordinary beast-like powers. Zhao Yifei says this is an amazing evolution. When Haoran hears what Zhao Yifei just said, he realizes that they all believe that his rebirth and the system he wields are some kind of evolution. Haoran figures out that they are not far from the truth. Zhao Yifei then reveals that she would like Haoran to join the Awakened Association as both human and beast, so he can help them take on difficult missions. Zhao Yifei assures him that if he agrees to the deal, she is going to apply for special privileges on his behalf. However, he has to promise that he won't harm humans. In return for this, he and his succubus will be under the protection of the association. He won't have to go on official raids or go with extermination squads. Zhao Yifei says she can even authorize him to move in the city without restrictions as long as he promises not to cause chaos. Zhao Yifei continues with the offers, saying they are willing to secure her sister a spot at J City's top university after graduating, so she can land a stable job at the association, since Haoran wants a good, quiet life for his beautiful younger sister. After calling out the offers, she tells him that he will be given time to think about it. Haoran doesn't waste time as he tells Zhao Yifei that he is taking the offer. Haoran knows that he can walk among humans by restricting his beast aura, but the idea is restrictive. However, he can move around freely with an official identity, and with this, he gets to do everything that he wants to. Haoran admits that having the status is crucial to him. Zhao Yifei then tells him that he will have to submit samples since he has agreed to the offer. Haoran is surprised by this as he doesn't know the type of sample she is talking about. Zhao Yifei says she needs a blood, saliva, and semen sample from him. She has 3 vials with her and she tells him to separate them into the vials. Haoran is shocked to learn that his semen is needed, and Zhao Yifei points out that they need a full body analysis since his power supposedly evolved from a beast. Haoran does as told, and he easily provides the blood and saliva samples. When he reached the stage of producing the semen sample, Haoran pulled down his trousers because Yifei refused to leave the room. Zhao Yifei's face turns red as she stares at the big sausage under Haoran, and she finally realizes what the succubi have been enjoying. Haoran is forced to ask her why she is staring at him because it is super weird. Zhao Yifei maintains her excuse that she can't leave since she has to monitor the entire process. She claims that this is the only way to confirm that everything came from his body. Haoran then says he is having difficulties getting the semen out because Zhao Yifei won't stop looking at him. He suggests that she help him with it, but Zhao Yifei refuses, saying she has not done something like that before. She tells him to ask his succubi for help with it. Zhao Yifei believes that his succubi will be more talented than she when it comes to the task. Haoran agrees and he calls in Nico to help him. Nico is happy to help because her master is relying on her to deliver. She gets down on her knees and gets a mouthful of her master's delicious sausage. Meanwhile, Shuer feels something while she is standing outside the conference room. She wonders why Haoran had to call Nico inside the conference room, and she is not totally wrong since Haoran is having one of the best times of his life. Haoran cannot believe that Nico doesn't have experience when it comes to blowing bananas, but she is doing so well that Haoran is lost in the process. Nico is putting all of her passion into doing it since she considers herself pretty useless in battle, and giving her master pleasure is the only way she can help. On the other hand, Zhao Yifei is melting where she is sitting. She can't believe that Haoran actually called someone to help him. She only joked about the suggestion, but Nico seems to be doing it so well that she wishes she were in her position. Momentarily, Haoran is able to provide the 3 samples needed. Zhao Yifei commends both Haoran and Nico for doing a good job. She assures Haoran that she will send the vials to the HQ for testing. Nico then turns to her master asking him if he enjoyed the performance, and he admits that he enjoyed it beyond words. Since Zhao Yifei has gotten what she came for, she believes that it is time for her to leave. She lets Haoran know that he will be taking an awakened level evaluation at the HQ in 1 week. She mentions that she will come pick him up by then. Haoran is confused by this, and Zhao Yifei explains that he is joining the association, so they need to assess his strength. This is a process that every member goes through, and she lets Haoran know that he is not an exception. Zhao Yifei lets Haoran know that she can sense that his power weakened when the day broke. She figures that Haoran is stronger at night, and because of this, she promises to put his evaluation at the end of the schedule so that he will get to do it at night to showcase his true strength. Haoran is shocked when he hears this. Haoran is blown away by the level of perception that the lady has, and this further confirms how strong and dangerous the Supreme Tier Awakened are. Zhao Yifei reminds Haoran that she gave him a very good offer, and she urges him to do well so that she can brag about it. Meanwhile, Bide is busy eavesdropping using tentacles. Zhuer catches her, but instead of scolding her, she is interested in what she saw. Bide lets Zhuer know that she saw something pretty incredible, and she makes the blowing sign to make an expression of what she saw. Zhuer is so innocent that she doesn't even know the meaning of the sign, and she believes that it is a powerful sign. Suddenly, Haoran appears behind them, asking the girls why they were so flustered. Zhuer is so curious about the sign that she asks Haoran about it, shocking him. Haoran wants to answer with his face red, but decides to hold back, telling Zhuer that she will understand what it means one day. Later on, Haoran stands on the balcony of the castle, recounting the events of the day. He knows that he was able to kill Utian, but he is not confident in himself. He gives the credit to the mini blood moon and the morning moon execution pillar effect. He knows that with his current power, he might fail the evaluation, and because of this, the association might not give him the sweet deal that they already prepared for him. He figures out that he needs to get very strong in 7 days, so that he can reach a level where the Awakened Association gives him the benefits that he actually wants. Nico shows up at the balcony, asking Haoran if he is worried about the Awakened level evaluation assessment, and Haoran is shocked that Nico is able to read his mind. Nico lets Haoran know that she has spent enough time at his side to guess what he is thinking. In addition to this, she knows that Haoran is always trying to get stronger. Nico then tells Haoran that she has a deal for him, but it is going to leave him exhausted. However, if he can use the method she is about to propose, he is going to be stronger than he currently is. Haoran assures Nico that he is not afraid of a little exhaustion, and she tells her to fire away with the method she is about to propose. Nico starts by confirming if Haoran knows about the rumors surrounding the succubus. This is a gift that is passed down from their ancestors. Their ancestors would extract men's essence whenever they were having fun with them and then use the essence to strengthen themselves. Even though they have long stopped doing the act, the skill remains in their bloodline. The sweet part of it is that they can use the skill in reverse. While having fun with a man, they can actually transfer their strength to the man. This is when it dawns on Haoran that Nico is suggesting that he have fun with every succubus in the village so that they can transfer their strength to him. Nico confirms this, saying Haoran will have to work hard during the process, but it is sure that he will get very strong. Nico says the succubi are ready to give their all for Haoran because he has helped them solve lots of problems. Nico assures Haoran that every succubus in the village will jump at the opportunity to help Haoran if it comes to that. Haoran admits that the suggestion is nice, but he is worried that there are over 200 succubi in the village, scaring him that he will eventually run out dry. Haoran then thinks over it for a minute, and he realizes that if he didn't use the method, it would be a waste since the succubus are just lying around to be taken. He has managed to max out some of their affection levels before, but only Nico was able to give him special rewards. He wasn't even able to perform soul resonance with any of them. Since this is the only way the succubi can be useful to him in his path to get stronger, he thinks of taking it. Haoran then tells Nico that he is going to take her suggestion. Nico is happy to hear this, telling Haoran that she will leave immediately to get everyone. In no time, the excited ladies show up in his chambers, and they are all eager to get going, telling Haoran that they are going to run him dry. Haoran is nervous, but he is a man who doesn't shy away from a challenge. Haoran wants to see how powerful the succubi's gift is, and in no time, the girls get to work. Echoes of pleasure can be heard all over the castle as Haoran works on them with passion. In no time, the confident girls are the ones begging for mercy because Haoran has drilled them more than they imagined. One of them even complains that her back is bent from the excessive drilling that she got from Haoran. Haoran lies on the bed with power surging through him, and he realizes that Nico wasn't lying when she said the girls can transfer their powers. He can feel his power growing, but the method is actually consuming his stamina pretty fast. Suddenly, he starts to recover from exhaustion. This is when it dawns on him that the blood-forged castle can heal both health and mana. In under a minute, Haoran is back in peak condition, which means he basically has unlimited stamina while he is in the castle. Since he is now full of energy, he is ready to continue with the girls. The second wave of succubi is already in line to satisfy him. Haoran is pleased with what he has experienced, and he tells the ladies to bring it on. This continues for a whole week, and Zhao Yifei soon shows up on her summoned bird to pick Haoran. Haoran confidently steps out of the castle, telling Zhao Yifei that he has been waiting for her. On their way to HQ, Zhao Yifei mentions that something is different about Haoran. Haoran tries to play dumb, telling the lady that she is probably imagining things because he is still the same person she left a week ago. Zhao Yifei argues this, saying Haoran appears more composed than he was before. In addition, she can feel that Howran seems more confident about the evaluation. Howran then mentions that he is carrying the hopes of every succubus in the village, and they have been doing special training for the evaluation. Howran says he appears to be confident because he needs to look strong for the ladies who are trusting him. Zhao Yifei becomes curious when he talks about the special training, and she starts to imagine a lot of fun scenes in her head. Zhao suddenly finds herself getting engrossed in her thoughts, and she realizes that she has been having dirty images in her head since she watched Nico help Howran gather the samples. This gets into her so much that she doesn't know when she starts to blush. Howran notices this and asks her why her face is red, but she shushes him, telling him that it is none of his business. Howran can easily sense that Zhao Yifei is a soft girl, even though she is pretty powerful. Meanwhile, at the Awakened HQ, which is located in B City, several Awakened are gathered for the evaluation. A Vegeta lookalike is among the crowd, mentions how he wants to prove himself at the evaluation so he can show his mother that he is a loser, but not a total loser. Standing tall among the prospects is a red-headed dude, Ma Fugui. He is just 18 years old, but he has already reached gold rank and he is proud of this. He tells his fellow prospects to worship while boasting like a celebrity. Suddenly, someone enters the arena like a meteor, catching everyone's attention. From the cloud of smoke, a beautiful figure appears, and it turns out to be Lin Yingying, who is also a Supreme Tier Awakened. Lin Yingying is surprised to see that she is the first Supreme Tier to have arrived at the HQ and concludes that she is early. While she is thinking about this, the boys are melting in her presence. They have always seen her on TV, and she is pretty, but seeing her in person lets them know that the TV is not doing justice to her magnificent beauty. However, they were surprised as to why someone as powerful as her would show up at the evaluation center. Ma Fugi starts to assume that Lin Yingying is there because of him. He considers himself a very high prospect that even Lin Yingying has come to recruit him. Ma Fugi is already thinking of how he is going to say yes to Lin Yingying's offer of a luxury mansion and a car. Suddenly he feels a terrifying aura behind, and what comes after is a voice telling him to know his place. It turns out to be a blind old man, and he lets Ma Fugi know that gold rank is trash to him. Ma Fugi cannot withstand the pressure, and he eventually crashes to the ground in fear. He stares at the man, and he recognizes him. Even Lin Yingying is surprised to see the old man at the evaluation center. The old man reveals that he is curious about the one they were previously supposed to hunt down, but suddenly is about to become their co-worker. Apparently, the old man is Lu Jianyu, and he is also a Supreme Tier Awakened. Lu Jianyu says he needs to see what Howran is really made of as he maintains his cold, scary stance. Just then, Zhao Yifei's beast arrives at the evaluation center, telling the Supreme Tier Awakened that Howran has arrived. They are both curious as to what Howran looks like and what sort of power he has. The other prospects are shocked to see a giant bird appear right above them, and those who know explain to the ignorant ones that the giant bird is Zhao Yifei's summoned beast. They are all left flustered when Zhao Yifei gets off her bird. The prospects cannot believe that they get to see two beauties in one day. Just then, they turn their attention to the dude standing beside their favorite Supreme Tier Awakened, and this is Howran. They are curious as to how he got Zhao Yifei to accompany him, and they start throwing digs at him, telling him that he is not worthy of staying around their glorious queen. Howran ignores them but gives them the middle finger. Zhao Yifei takes Howran to the other two Supreme Tier Awakeners, urging them to relax, since Howran is no longer a target. She then tells Howran to greet his seniors. Howran wastes no time jumping into action, and he praises Lin Yingying's power and beauty. This leaves Lin Yingying blushing, but the old man quickly cuts in, asking Howran why he is not praising him like he just did for Lin Yingying. Howran says he is about to, but Lu Jianyu blocks his mouth with his hand while checking out what his face looks like. After checking his bone structure, the old man concludes that Howran isn't as handsome as he was when he was younger. Lu Jianyu then tells Howran that he should be thankful that he is invited to the evaluation, or else he would have come after him and finished him off. However, he assures Howran that he will be watching him, and if there is anything shady about him, he is ready to deal with it. Howran is curious how the old man is supposed to watch him when he is literally blind. In no time, Howran's evaluation begins. For his strength, he gets full marks. When it comes to intelligence, he also clears it and gets full marks. The same goes for his stamina, spirit, and stamina. Lin Yingying is impressed with what she is seeing, saying she hasn't seen a well-rounded rookie in ages. Liu Jianyu, on the other hand, is not impressed as he considers this the bare minimum. Zhao Yifei tells Howran that she is impressed because he is living up to her expectations. Zhao Yifei then says his physical tests are only the least because he still needs to take the potential growth test. Howran is confused as he doesn't know what this means. Zhao Yifei mentions that ordinary awakened need only the physical test to get ranked. But at Star Diamond and above, potential growth gets checked too. They aim to combine his current power with his predicted growth to determine what rank he will be. Howran is shocked to hear that they have the capacity to measure potential. Not long after this, Haoran heads to the room where he is to take the growth potential test. Inside the room is a girl, Kui Meng Yao, and she is a star diamond awakened, whose job is to determine Awakener's potential. Kui berates Haoran for coming late to the evaluation, telling him that she needs to leave work soon. Haoran then apologizes for the delay, saying his house is pretty far. Kui moves past the complaints and suggests that they go straight to the point. She opens her mouth and tells Haoran to put his finger in her mouth. Haoran is stunned by what he just heard, and he is forced to ask again. Kui then repeats what she said just in case Haoran has suddenly gone deaf. She tells him to put his hand inside her mouth. Haoran hesitates, telling the girl that she doesn't look older than his younger sister. Kui is disappointed that Haoran is judging her age by her appearance. She assures him that she is an adult and reveals that her tongue has special sensory abilities. By licking someone's skin, she can sense their potential level. She lets Haoran know that licking his finger is the most conservative way unless he wants something more extreme. Haoran quickly puts his finger into Kui's mouth, and she starts to lick it. Even though it is a requirement for the evaluation, the whole thing looks super weird to Haoran. Kui's power kicks into play and she finds herself in Haoran's potential space. She gets an unpleasant feeling just by being there. And she realizes how strong Haoran is going to be when he finally reaches his peak. Suddenly, she hears a voice, telling her how foolish it is for her to have made the decision to glimpse at the true form of a demon god. Kui sees a terrifying presence in front of her, warning her to know her place. Fear runs through her body as she jerks back to reality. Kui jumps into a corner on the couch while sweating like a chicken. Haoran is surprised by her reaction, and he asks her what she saw. However, before he can get an answer, men in black show up at the door, telling Haoran that the evaluation is over and he can now leave and wait for his results. Kui remains shaken until Zhao Yifei appears in the room. Even Zhao Yifei is surprised to see how Kui is reacting to what she saw. She then asks Kui what level Haoran is going to reach. She teases Kui, asking her if Haoran will be higher than her, who is a supreme tier awakened, and Kui says Haoran will surpass her. Haoran is stunned when he hears this, and Zhao Yifei grows even more curious. Later on, the PA system rings loudly for everyone to hear, and they tell the participants that the final prospect, Haoran, has completed his evaluation. They announce that his rank has been determined to be a legendary tier rank, and for his awakened title, he has been given the demon-slaying Crimson Blood. Haoran is pleased when he hears the title and the rank bestowed upon him. He figures out that it shows the type of respect that the higher-ups have for him. In addition, it is not flashy like the supreme tier, which will call attention to him. Haoran is glad that it fits his low-key personality. Before Haoran knows it, he is already surrounded by a ton of media people, taking pictures of him. The news picks up this news, and it spreads like wildfire. Most people are shocked by this since they have never heard of Haoran before. When Xiao Yu learns about the news, she smiles as she proudly declares that Haoran is her brother. She is proud to see that her brother is still alive, contrary to what she heard. 30 minutes before the announcement, Zhao Yifei is still having the ranking conversation with Kui. Zhao Yifei cannot believe that Haoran will surpass the supreme rank to reach the peerless rank. Kui confirms this, but Zhao Yifei remains doubtful, telling Kui that a single supreme tier awakened is strong enough to defend an entire major city. She mentions that the entire nation has only a couple of supreme tier awakeners. The peerless tier awakeners outclass and outperform the supremes in every way possible. Since their nation was founded, they have only managed to produce just one single peerless rank awakener, which makes it a big deal. In fact, there are only 5 countries in the world that have a peerless tier awakened. Because of how powerful the peerless tier is, Zhao Yifei cannot believe that this is what Kui is suggesting that Haoran will become in the future. Kui knows it sounds unbelievable and impossible, but she reminds Zhao Yifei that her senses have never failed her before. She mentioned that with what she saw and his current performance, Haoran already qualifies as a supreme tier awakened. This is when the president of the Awakened Association, Wang Jie, enters the room, saying it is too early to rank Haoran as a supreme tier awakened. He says Haoran can go further to become the backbone of the association in the future if Kui's prediction is not wrong. However, they need to give him space and the environment to develop. Wang says the supreme rank awakeners are the core measure of national power, and if they label him supreme tier, the whole world will have their eyes on him. Wang then suggests placing him in the legendary high rank in the meantime. Even though it was their plan to keep things quiet, just the mere news of Haoran being a legendary rank spreads like wildfire. When Liu Zhengyi got wind of the news, he finally realized how Haoran was able to defeat Utian. Liu Zhengyi is thankful that he didn't do anything stupid to trigger Haoran. On the other hand, Li Hongping is disappointed that they only gave Haoran a legendary rank since she was able to see what Haoran would look like when he reaches his peak. Luo Xuan is also disappointed that she didn't get closer to Haoran because his popularity would have gotten her the push she needed to introduce herself to the world. Later on, Zhao Yifei and Haoran start heading back to his castle. On their way, Zhao Yifei can't keep her eyes off of Haoran. She knew he had potential, but she never imagined it to be this high. A peerless rank awakened is basically a national treasure, and she realizes that a national treasure is basically standing in front of her. Haoran also notices that Zhao Yifei won't keep her eyes off, and he asks her if there is anything that she wants. Zhao Yifei denies the allegation, telling Haoran that she's only pulling her neck to feel more comfortable. Haoran knows that she is lying because he just heard the worst excuse he has ever heard in his life. At the Blood-Forged Castle, reporters and media people have surrounded the mansion. Since they have gotten word that this is Haoran's home, they have been flooding the area. They can't believe that Haoran built his castle in the middle of nowhere. Several rumors fly around among the media people as they take pictures of the castle. Some say Haoran can tame exotic beasts, which is why he built a castle of his own just for the beasts. Since they can't find Haoran yet, the media people are capturing images of the succubi inside the castle. Inside the castle, the succubi are already tired of the reporters. They can't believe that they have come to disturb them very early in the morning. However, the girls can't do anything since they have been warned by Haoran not to hurt humans. Apparently, they are officially registered now, which is why they are restricted from touching humans. Just then, one of the girls decided to take matters into her own hands. She assures her friends that she won't hurt the humans but will play around with them so that they can learn some manners. Just then, she steps outside with some of her friends. This immediately catches the attention of the media people. Since the media people are waiting for Haoran, the daredevil succubus is ready to teach them some life lessons. The reporters are all mesmerized by the beauty standing in front of them. They can't believe that this is what Haoran has been enjoying all by himself. They all start to lose their minds as they wish that they were the ones having the same fun that Haoran is having. The succubus lets them know that they can't live up to Haoran's legacy because they will never have the same stamina as their beloved master, Haoran. The succubus brings out her whip and starts hitting the boys, making them wish for more. The succubus continues this until Haoran shows up, asking her what she is doing. He reminds her that he already warned them not to touch humans. The succubus says she is only trying to teach some manners to the men. However, she got engrossed in the act when she started. Haoran then tells her that things only escalated that way because she ignored his warnings and acted on her own volition. Suddenly, the succubus gives Haoran the whip, admitting to the fact that she is wrong, and she begs Haoran to punish her severely. She lies on the ground while begging Haoran to deal with her severely. She can't stop blushing and moaning while saying this as she urges Haoran to get on with it. Haoran is surprised to see this, as it dawns on him that the girl was probably waiting for him to get back and act like he just did. Since she asked for it, Haoran obliges. He picks up the whip, but before he can start anything, the reporters start taking pictures and asking him dumb questions. They even ask him if it is true that a succubus can make a man see heaven. Haoran soon gets frustrated with their rubbish questions, and he screams at them. His aura sends a scary chill down their spines and breaks their cameras too. They are shocked by this, and they crash to the ground out of fear. Haoran stares at them menacingly, telling them to stop twisting the narrative of things because if they continue that way, he is going to make them regret it. Meanwhile, Zhao Yifei is watching from above, and she is surprised that Haoran is already picking fights with the media when he is still very young. Zhao Yifei knows that this is the start of his media pain because the reporters are a bunch of manipulative dudes who will keep getting on his nerves. She is worried that the media will turn things against him if he doesn't find a way to navigate his way with them. Later that night, Centaur visits Haoran in his chambers. Haoran is surprised to see her, asking her why she is coming to see him so late. Centaur then reveals that she has developed a new technique, and she needs Haoran's guidance concerning this. Haoran is excited when he hears this, believing that Centaur has been training in his absence. Haoran then tells her to show him what the technique is. Centaur reveals that the technique is created solely to satisfy Haoran. Centaur then transforms into her new form, the mount form. Centaur transforms from her huge form into a horse-like form, asking Haoran if he likes the new form that she has taken. Haoran is a bit disappointed because horse legs are basically for speed and actual riding. However, Centaur says she is not talking about the mount that Haoran thinks. She reminds Haoran of what happened in the spider cave. Everyone got excited after eating Bide's tentacles, and while everyone else was having fun with Haoran, Centaur couldn't. She had no choice but to stay on the sidelines to watch them have fun together. After this, she still had to spectate when the succubi in the building were all having fun with Haoran. However, Centaur is confident that things will be different with her new mount form that she has created with the sole purpose of merging with him. Centaur tells Haoran that it is finally her turn to enjoy what he has been giving to the others. She says her admiration for Haoran is pure, and it reaches the heavens. She begs Haoran not to hesitate to unleash himself on her because she can't hold it in any longer. Haoran still doesn't seem interested, even with everything she is saying. He considers merging with Centaur a very weird activity because of her long horse legs. While he is thinking about it, Centaur continues urging him to get down with her. She then asks Howran if she is not appealing enough to him. At that moment, Howran gets a notification from the system telling him that Centaur's desire is overflowing and he needs to attend to her immediately or her affection will drop drastically. Howran cannot believe that the system is about to force him to be involved in this weird activity. Nonetheless, Howran admits that he has been neglecting Centaur for far too long. Howran decides that he is just going to give Centaur everything that he owes her in one go, since her affection is not yet maxed out and she hasn't been able to give him an exclusive weapon. Howran touches Centaur's face, and she is already melting from this. She is glad that she is finally getting what she needs, and this is becoming his woman. The two get down to having fun, and after a passionate session, Centaur's affection reaches 100%. Howran witnessed her battle power during their time together, and he realizes that it is not a joke. Just then, the system informs him that he has unlocked a mystery reward. He gets a rare gem called Heart of Nature, which doubles the effect of nature-type skills when they are equipped. When Centaur wakes up, Howran asks her how she feels, and she admits with a smile on her face that she feels very amazing. She mentions that just by remembering it, all her body is shaking. Howran also gets the notification that Centaur has broken through to Tier 6 because of his essence. Howran immediately activates the soul resonance, and an exclusive weapon pushes out of her chest. It turns out to be a chest plate packed with several stats and a 2% chance of reflecting incoming damage. Howran is impressed by the armor and the particular chance that it has to reflect incoming damage. It also has a stamina boost, which means loads of HP for him. However, he is confused about the Heart of Nature gem since he doesn't have any nature-type skills. He wonders what it is that he is supposed to do with the green gem staring him in the face. Since he can't use the gem himself, he thinks of giving it to someone who can, while wondering if it will work for them. He thinks about the possible people that he can give to his team. There are only two people using nature-based abilities, and these are Balo and Shur. He thinks of Balo, but immediately thinks of what Balo will do with such power in her hands. She would basically burn everything to ashes if she could, and because of this, Howran decides not to give her. Howran figures out that he needs someone who is more emotionally stable between the two of them. Later on, Shur is seen in her apartment having an online war with trolls, who are trying to drag Howran's name through the mud. She sits down to reply to every single comment she sees that doesn't sit well with her when it comes to Howran. She doesn't want anyone to badmouth her master, and she is ready to fight to the end if that happens. After she is done fighting her online war, she lies down on her bed to rest since she is totally exhausted. She claims the online trolls are saying trash about her master when they don't even know the things he has been through. Suddenly, she hears Howran's voice in the room, asking her why she is letting online drama get to her. Howran tells Shur not to worry about what anyone says because they are all entitled to their opinions. Shur is shocked, and she asks Howran when he entered the room. Howran reveals that he has been there since she started typing on her computer, and because she looked so focused on trashing the trolls, he let her finish it. Shur mentions that she couldn't sit around while some people trash his name. Shur then asks her master if he came all the way from the castle just to see her. Howran reveals that he came to visit his sister, and he decided to stop by her side to drop a gift for her. Howran says the gift is a big one that cannot be unwrapped in her apartment. He suggests that they head outside to an open space where they can unwrap the gift. Howran then picks her up and flies her through the night sky. As they move through the air, Howran admits that he is feeling the nice feeling coming from her chest. This basically reminded him of the time Nico flew him through the sky. On the other hand, Shur is already blushing as she imagines a lot of things in her head. Since Howran told her that the gift needs to be taken outside, a lot of wild things have crossed her mind. Shortly afterward, they arrive at a forest, and Howran believes that they have reached the best place for them to use. Shur looks around to see that it is really secluded, and with this, she concludes that it is perfect. Howran then tells Shur that he has a gift, and he whips out the green gem. Howran lets Shur know that he doesn't hand out such a gift pretty easily. He mentions that Shur will feel immense power flowing through her body once she takes in the gem. Shur is shocked when she learns that she has to take it inside her. She is already imagining a lot of dirty things, and Howran knows this. Howran launches the gem into her body to keep her quiet. The gem hits her in the tummy and starts to merge with her as she starts to levitate. After the gem is done merging with her, Howran walks up to her, asking her how she feels. He wants to know if she feels any changes in her body. Shur feels a cold chill in her system, and she tells her master that her entire body feels alive. Howran is happy to hear that the gem is already working, and he asks Shur if she is ready to try out the new power. Shur says she is shy to try it, but Howran lets her know that the gem only enhances her ice abilities tenfold. Howran wants to see how strong she has become by taking in the gem, which is why he brought her to the secluded area. It finally dawns on Shur that Howran only brought her to the forest to test her abilities, not something else. Howran assures Shur that he knows what is on her mind. He admits that he has been so busy lately that he has neglected her, which is already making her crave attention. Howran then assures her that if she can satisfy him in the battle that they are about to have, he will pound her till she is satisfied too. Shur is happy when she hears this, and she urges Howran not to take back his words when it is time. Shur makes the first move, conjuring her 16-fold ice rings. Several rings form around her, and she launches them at Howran. Even Shur is surprised that the ice rings are bigger than before, and she realizes that it basically serves as proof that the gem worked. Shur is confident that with this, she will be able to earn Howran's reward. As the rings come toward him, Howran expels them by unleashing his blood attack. After dispelling the ice ring, Howran looks totally disgusted because he is in no way impressed with what he just saw from Shur. Howran tells Shur that he wants to see her limits. Howran hits Shur with red storm filled with bats. The bats surrounded Shur, weirding her out. But since she hasn't reached her best yet, she decides to show Howran her best. She unleashes a very powerful ice energy from her body that destroys the bats and, at the same time, creates an ice domain that freezes up the entire area in an instant. Howran gets hit with the attack, and the system lets him know that he has been afflicted with a skill, Chill. His movement speed is immediately halved, and his attack power is reduced to 75%. Howran is impressed by how Shur was able to freeze the entire forest in an instant, and the effect she also inflicted on him. He is happy that he made the choice to give her the heart of nature. Shur is happy to be getting praises from her master, and she thanks him for the compliments. However, Shur knows that her master is not yet satisfied. She decides to push harder, and with this, she leaps toward Howran, while asking him to forgive her for what she's about to do to him. She jumps on Howran and locks her thighs around his neck, shocking Howran. She drags him to the ground and then activates a powerful spell, the Ice Prison. A giant wall of ice erupts all around them, and even Shur feels the extreme cold of the ice prison. She then asks Howran if she did well to impress him. Howran is caught in the ice prison, but because of Hita's necklace, he becomes immune to the effect. The chill effect on him is also nullified, and Howran tells Shur that she tried. However, Howran takes it to the next weird level, telling Shur that his best thing he liked about everything that just happened was the position that she put him in. Shur is shocked to see that Howran can still move, even after she used the scissors lock and ice crystal prison on him. Howran decides to add more aura to his name by shattering the ice, and he lets Shur know that he doesn't deserve to be called her master if something like that can hold him down. Shur is left astonished as she compliments her master, telling him that he is the best. Shur apologizes for thinking she could trap her master, and she got overconfident in the process. Realizing that she has used her best attack, and it did nothing, she admits defeat. Shur then reminds her master that he promised to grant her a reward. She wants him to follow through with his promise to do so. Just then, Howran gets a notification from the system, telling him that Shur has missed him so much that she really wants him at that moment, and if he doesn't attend to her, Shur's affection will go down. And if a follower's affection drops below 100%, the exclusive equipment given to him will deactivate, and the Blood Demon Essence buff will also vanish. Howran is shocked when he sees this, and he realizes that the affection system requires effort even after maxing out his followers' affection. Howran cannot afford to lose everything he has been working hard for, and he immediately jumps on Shur, letting her know that her pose is astonishing. Shur suggests that they keep going, and Howran obliges. He locks lips with her, and in no time, he takes off her coverings right there on the snow-filled ground. During their passionate fun together, Shur imagines it as her excitedly playing around with a bamboo tree. She twists and turns around the bamboo tree like a pole dancer because she is so excited with how Howran handled her. After they are done, Shur admits that she enjoyed every bit of it. She then asks Howran how he felt about her performance. Howran assures her that she did really well. Just then, Shur reveals that she has one more request. She wants Howran to join the Red City group. When Howran hears this, he immediately figures out that Shur's mother put her up to it. Howran knows that her mother is trying to use the relationship between them to drag him into the Red City group. Shur is not surprised that Howran easily figured this out, and she apologized, telling her master that her mother insisted, which is why she had to do it. Howran then tells her that she has nothing to worry about because lots of groups have recently been trying to win him over. However, now that he has an official status, he doesn't need to join any guild or group. Howran drops the bombshell, revealing his plan to create his own awakened group. Well guys, that's the end of the video. If you like this video, comment next part in the comment section. Also subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and like the video. Thank you for watching and see you next time again.